I think that no matter what happens, this is going to be an awesome game, and also the coin has spoken. And today, we're going to be kicking things off with a match that could change the playoff picture forever. Of course, folks, we're talking about Furia versus 100 Thieves. We also have other great matches here today. Folks, VCT Americas starts right now. This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
Everyone was talking about him, and this is going to be the guy to look out for.
Too much Cryo again. Does this guy miss? Does Cryo ever miss? No, he doesn't.
Questão, olha a Thieves, escala bem, faz duplo abate, vamos, Fogão!
Se acaba tempo e leva!
A preparação desse jogo contra a EG e a questão de conseguir colocar cada setinha, cada pecinha no lugar certo.
Keep online with the up. He's gonna have a chance in second two.
They look stunned here. They don't know what to do anymore.
This is brutal.
Very familiar with MIBR's game plan. They're definitely capable of being a dangerous team. Full focus, job's not done.
And still, as we have nobody onto the spike, the round's gonna come in for the evil geniuses. Flash then coming out, then the lineup for Chogima!
Nossa cabeça para enfrentar 100 Thieves, na verdade, tá bem de boa. A gente não fica focando muito no adversário que a gente vai enfrentar. A gente foca no nosso estilo de jogo, tudo que a gente treinou e tenta só replicar isso no campeonato.
But there's a Sheriff! Help his teammates, the flag comes down. Oh my god, what a kill by the Dizine!
We've only played them a handful of times, like in practice, so I don't really know what to expect. I think we just gotta focus on winning.
Towards B main, there's only 20 seconds left on the clock for Loud to act. And as we take care of the alarm box, that gets 2 kills. Crowself with the first blood, but instantly traded back by Aspas. Crowself with the third one!
For the Brazilians, you need one, and you're in. For the North Americans, they need one to simply stay alive in the season. It's Furia facing 100 Thieves, and it all goes down right here as the players begin to huddle and get ready for this matchup. Josh, the pressure's on really for both teams. As I said, 100 Thieves need this win to stay competitive in the playoff picture, and Furia need this win to lock in the playoffs.
It's actually crazy. If you're a fan of the Brazilian teams at all, you're rooting against 100 Thieves so hard, because not only would they deal a bit of a blow to Furia here with a win, they'd also knock MIBR out of playoff contention.
Oof.
They can deal a double whammy right now with this win, despite not really being in control of their own future. And this match is so interesting because I think in theory, we should just have 2 permabans. We know what they are. Fury always get rid of Lotus. 100 Thieves always get rid of Pearl. And that means there are some serious questions where Mike's, the head coach that you see right there, has to decide, do they want Cryo at the front? Do they want Astra at the front? Where do they go? Where do they target?
Honestly, I'm such a big fan of these vetoes. I think this deep into a tournament, like, just taking the Ascent out, it just makes sense to me.
Yeah, you want to see them do that, right? At this point, it's like you either have to do it or you are accepting that you're going to potentially hold the L every map, you know?
I mean, yeah, I understand that Ascent has been, like, where they've been losing constantly, but that would be such an enormous gamble to have that be the first map here that I just feel like 100 Thieves, with no Harbor Viper play whatsoever, if they do the crazy gamble and put their playoffs on the line to play Pearl, that would be, I think that would be even more of a gamble than just playing Ascent and working on what you're doing.
It's a big gamble, but they're definitely prepared for it.
Yeah.
I think they came into this match knowing, hey, like, we're going to run our game plan, and if it goes, it goes.
I mean, they have no other choice at this point, right? It's either put up or shut up. You win here, you're still contending in the playoffs. You're ruining the hopes of Brazilian fans across, the region if you're 100 Thieves. But let's focus, though, on Furia, because you kind of feel like you have a couple of advantages here for them, right? I mean, Ascent, you put, Digits in on Jet on that map, let them run wild. That's nice. Like, there's really just a lot of positives here, Josh, for Furia going into this.
There absolutely are. I think even when you look at the maps that are somewhat more towards the middle of the pool, stuff like Haven, stuff like Bind as well, I would give the edge to Furia. I think the way in which they've been playing those maps has been excellent. They've also been playing a ton of Harbor Viper, which is the America's meta at the moment, and 100 Thieves have strayed away from that so much. So if 100 Thieves want a chance in this game, they need to be hard anti-stratting the Harbor Viper stuff, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether they're going to be able to do that. They've struggled against the other teams in that manner, apart from, I suppose, the way that they played against Leviathan on Lotus. Maybe they could look towards that.
Yeah, well, we'll wait for the... Oh, here it comes, as a matter of fact. Map vetoes starting to come in. Furia's up first. We'll see, what's going to be their veto, right? What they opt to get rid of. It's going to be Lotus. No real shocker there. Now it's going to be 100 Thieves' turn. This is what we've been waiting for this entire time to see. Are they going to get rid of the Ascent? Are they going to get rid of Pearl? And they choose to get rid of Ascent, which is huge for them.
Yeah,
But that leaves Pearl open.
Yes, and I think I do understand the thought process that Benita's really articulated, but I think 100 Thieves, the reality of it is that they've put their entire playoff run, their hopes and dreams here rely on this gamble that they've taken.
They have pounced on Pearl so fast.
Sometimes you flip the coin and you hope it's not cursed, I suppose.
But wait a minute.
So Furia have had their trip-ups on Pearl. It's not like they're the best team in the entire region on that map.
They're just banking on 100 Thieves being worse.
Exactly, and 100 Thieves have not showcased it. Now, 100 Thieves in the past used to be good on Pearl. They had great B retakes, but that was before Harbor Viper became meta. So we don't know what they're going to play. We have no idea. Maybe I don't know, maybe they're still playing the KO Fade kind of stuff or something. It's really difficult. And also, prepping against Furia on that map 1, you have to be worried about that crazy Neon comp they ran at some point, too. And the final map being Haven is, again, trying to take down Furia's Harbor Viper comp, which has just been amazing there.
Oh, this is... Benita, well, you look like confident but concerned.
No, I just think, like, Furia hasn't experienced a win on Fracture yet. So I think this is looking pretty good for 100 Thieves. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, I do love that Benita's just coming in, just hardcore NA fandom. You love to see it, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose if you're still hoping on 100 Thieves being able to make it through, but I think Furia have the advantage on map 1 and map 3, and I'm so interested to see what 100 Thieves play here. Would you go, if you've been hard planning for this, Benita, do you just go for the Harbor Viper?
Yeah, I think
one step closer. One step closer.
Derek on Killjoy.
Oh, they did it! They did it, Josh!
Yeah, and here it comes. Stella on the Harbor, too. So really messing with the rolls, but that, in theory, that aggressive duo of Cryo and Asuna should be good, as long as Cryo can get that aggressive killer instinct out.
Wow, this is looking real juicy.
Indeed it is. Well, we have everything locked in. Let's see how 100 Thieves Pearl is, and we're going to send it over to your casters. They've got a 100% pick rate in my heart. It's Doug and Bala.
That's pretty good. I mean, you got to give him that. That one's pretty good.
That
That
sounds
one
like
made me
something you would
smile.
say.
Yeah, actually, it was something I would say. It made me smile though. Well, really interesting approach, specifically when it comes to the map vetoes. The fact that we're even going to Pearl is surprising to me.
Yeah, it was interesting because Benita at the top of the day, she said, I really want them to see to scrap that Ascent.
Yeah.
And they end up going to or maybe permabanning. Who knows what the future holds for them. But Furia, which I have mixed feelings about because when I look at it and I see Pearls open, I say, yes, 100% go for what has been the permaban for 100 Thieves all season long. But then I think about what has happened for Furia on this map, and the only win was against MIBR, who, again, was in that streak of disgustingly bad stomps, and Furia actually played close against them on this map.
100 Thieves finally succumbing to the pressure of the double wall comp, so they are going to have both here. Attacking side to kick things off. We're already seeing some of the walls go up, some of the utility. They're going to have to navigate around, but there's a pocket for DG right off the bat!
And how did Bang actually find that? He must have seen him on the minimap, clearing it as Cryo went over top.
Spike planted.
And Fury are really good at pistol rounds in the league. So to see them with a disadvantage, going for the retake on the B site right away is not a good sign.
Now, especially too when you consider two of the members of 100 Thieves are looking for that flank already.
Oh, he's so close.
Up a little late. Yeah, that's tight. That's one for one though. And you start to get the stream and peek from down long. And yeah, Mazine's able to get one, but now with two left,
He has
Spike
time for
ticking
this.
away.
He has time for this.
That would have been insane. But a great start for 100 Thieves.
I mean, just ridiculous from Bang to be able to have the wherewithal to check that cubby and to spam him down, because Digizin was going to do damage there. He still had his dash active. He had plenty of stuff. And if I'm 100 Thieves, that guy specifically is someone I'm terrified going up against, given what he just did to one of the best NA teams last week.
Last player standing.
Lovely stuff from 100 Thieves, taking advantage immediately of the strengths of this comp and what pretty much every single team has been relying on, that B-long take and post-plant. And 4 rifles bought up for them. And this is because, especially on Pearl, obviously it's mostly becoming meta for most maps, but Pearl specifically, this long range, you could force a lot of battles that they can't pick up those weapons on, and you're advantaged on.
Clock already being burned down to just over a minute left. In the round, Spike finally in tow.
Look at the stack, though, from Furia. 4 players here. And I'm wondering when this wall is going to start cycling by Bang. You have Derek looking to potentially lurk.
Orb goes up, and they fill the space behind it. It's just Derek who's, as you were saying, potentially going to be there for the lurk or just watching out for one coming from Furia. But either way, they've contacted their way all the way up B.
Oh, great molly. Digizin's actually taking a lot of damage early. 35 seconds, though. And they don't want to push this cascade.
There is a little gap in it, just the tiniest bit on the right side.
There's a second one in a high tide possible here, too.
Cryo checking the spot that DG was in there just a moment ago. And now the members of Furia start to fall. And boy, do they fall quickly.
Beautiful stuff from 100 Thieves here. Walking into a stack and keeping it that clean is really nice. And some of the little things that happen, the details in that execute, where they're mauling that corner that Digizin's trying to peek from and eventually hide in as well. He has to fall all the way back to B-Link. Cryo again going over top of screens there. They're checking off all the boxes. Feels very drilled with this Harbor Viper comp, and I think the desk was doubting 100 Thieves' ability to get into this, and so far, so good. I'd also be on the same wavelength given the history for 100 Thieves and not having played Harbor Viper at all. And barely playing some of the double controller stuff too. Josh was very surprised at Derek playing the Killjoy again, but that's what he did on Lotus when they went for a double controller comp as well. Flawless conversion of the anti-eco.
Which is exactly what you want to see if you're a 100 Thieves fan. So they're up 2-0. Furia now with weapons. No ults really anywhere close to coming online for the defensive side either. Asuna and Seller just 2 pips away from both, though.
And you see the benefits now of having that be flawless, too. All those rifles still carried over. And they have basically an even fight here against Furia. who are going to go for some aggro here in A, and 100 Thieves does look like they want to control it as well.
Blinded.
Trying to control some of that orb. You see a Molly traded back.
Actually, no util spent from 100 Thieves at all. That was Mazin throwing the Molly in front of the wall just to make sure that if they do push through that wall, which is a counter you can do when you go for that defensive A control, they get punished for it. But they've spent a lot. So that retake's going to be a lot harder now. And even these trap plays in middle are going to be difficult too. I love this mid-round cascade down B long to give Bang some space to lurk. He's gotten all the way down to the pillar. This is going to be another pivot towards B, depending on what Bang can find.
Toxins going up.
He sure is patient, finally starting to make his move and creep his way forward. The problem is there's all the Killjoy utility from Khalil set up on that side.
Scout destroyed.
It's going to be tough to get very much space there at all. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves still playing around Art. They still have some presence towards A main too.
That flash, recognizing that there's players there, and Art is the cue for 100 Thieves to run all the way back, and they're going to go into the space that Bang was holding.
30 seconds
But
left.
he hasn't really cleared any of that util yet. So 25 seconds here, this is dangerous, and you have both Mollies here from the Furia side.
Toxin screen down.
You also got Mazin close by too. They don't explore Link. It's a deep flash.
That's in a Molly. Oh! He barely finds the pocket away.
It just barely, you're right.
Planted.
Bang does fall. Numbers still for Furia though.
And the issue here, oh, the double flank.
And they're aware of it. You see them, they're starting to rotate back.
Oh.
But DG is NMW roll over. What's there?
Ambitious.
This could be a big moment for Cryo though. He's already gotten two, still so much to do and not enough time or health to do it all.
You're asking for a 1v5 there from Cryo. And that's tough. That mid-round was definitely, you could see the ideas starting from the beginning when they cascaded Bang down into that pillar. You could tell maybe if they got something on A, they would have hit that site. But as soon as Furia denied them, as soon as they got a high tied up and the flash to confirm their spot. Oh, and he gets a kill while spamming down the cove too. That hurts. Because Bang was vulnerable from that alarm bot. Another thing, even if that flank didn't come down, 100 Thieves did not save any mollies for that post plant. So you're looking at a tough situation no matter what, and the flank just made it worse.
As you were mentioning at the top of the previous round, though, financially for 100 Thieves, they're still perfectly fine. Still able to buy full on weapons and some armor, so.
Fast hit though here.
Back into that Killjoy utility.
If you can get it down a lot earlier, you're significantly happier, but Cryo might dash into it.
And Bang once again just gets melted. This time they invested the Seekers too. Cryo takes stun damage and then spam through the wall.
Hoping to execute with the Seekers there is difficult when Asuna still has the Trailblazer too. To really force those positions off, but either way now falling back. They do have a Molly this time, but only one.
They have a Reckoning too from Stellar.
3v5, do you invest it?
That would be very costly, and yes it is. So that's now two ults that they've invested into this round to try to capitalize.
He's gonna go for the defuse while stunned, and Digison has a second smoke here.
He's not just going halfway. He's not just going halfway, he's gonna take it all the way to the end! Furia tie us at 2.
Last player standing.
I have to say, a little bit disappointing on these approaches from 100 Thieves, following that anti-eco. And Furia, I mean, pouncing on the opportunity to deny that site twice in a row now. And really not feeling the pressure from the actual execute. That Viper wall up. 100 Thieves didn't even wait for consideration on that fuel. So nobody's able to follow up on Cryo dashing through. And by the way, he's getting vulnerable and in a molly with that dash. Not going over top like you saw him in the first 2 rounds.
Perhaps some room for some small adaptations.
They still get a buy here though, which is quite crazy. I mean, getting a lot of plants here, obviously.
Yeah, I think the flawless round from round 3 or whatever that was certainly helps the situation too.
Little hop on the dog. It actually does affect the distance, but does spot Khalil in the back anyways. Look at Digison.
He's up so far. I don't think he saw Bang. Oh, he heard him though.
And they're expecting a possibility like this. I think because there was no high tide up A main this time, and doing their research. They're going to clear him, it looks like.
Yeah, do they wait for Asano as a flash? Do you invest a flash on a tight corner like this, knowing you still have so much space you need to take down?
I have a W here now.
Nothing invested. Kill traded, though. MW now looking to try to get away, and as soon as the Cloudburst goes down, you're staring into 3 members of 100 Thieves.
Forces the Furia players to dash back. He uses Reckoning very early to get in front of this wall.
27 seconds left. They still should have time to be able to navigate this, but
they're denying this very well.
The issue, yeah, I think it's going to be all the other utility you have to get by. QCK, same spot. Oh gosh, there's still so much damage from the same place. They return to the scene of the crime.
See you in the next life.
They had all the advantage there.
Take them out before they even...
But again they just try to bully their way in after those early kills on MW. And Digis in. The amount of delay, it feels like, obviously you're seeing them not playing Pearl as much, not used to playing this map, coming into effect because they're running through not only the Viper wall, but then when that falls, there's the high tide too that's slowing them. I like the crowd tries to get the double smoke Caterpillar into that site for the rest of his teammates, but it's not significant enough. And something that Josh pointed out right at the top of the show, the 4v5s from Furia, when they lost Digis in, you're thinking, oh my goodness, that's a tough position. Everybody else is so far. But Furia are the best in the league at man down situations. 34%. Slightly over a third of their rounds. It's ridiculous. And now they've finally broken the economy from 100 Thieves.
Not only that, but they've taken an early lead in the map, and they have also forced the timeout from 100 Thieves. Wanting to think things through for just a moment, Derek does have the lockdown going into the next round, but you can see it on your screens. It's a smattering of weapons. You've got Stingers, you've got Sheriffs, and yeah, you have a couple of rifles to work with too, but I mean, relative to what they've had in the last few rounds, this is bargain shopping.
Placing sentry.
Almost every single round from 100 Thieves so far, actually every single round has ended towards that B site. And now that they're on a light buy, I would, if I'm Furia, I'm expecting them to shift, but I think 100 Thieves would know that. They do get the same main control though.
Which they've succeeded at a couple of times.
I mean, this is, wow, Digis in. That's a random angle to walk into.
That's also both their rifles. Already down.
I mean, that's just disgusting from him, though. He's walking randomly in the open in the middle of sight. That's not something that you do. Because he's Jet, he gets away with it, and because he is in such good form, he gets away with it too.
TG really has been on a tear recently. Looks like he's continuing that success. Both rifles that were dropped from 100 Thieves have been picked up, so both Asuna and Bang have a little bit more fighting power in this, but a 2v5.
I have to commend here Fury as well. They actually went for a 4-1 stack, left Khalil on his own on that B site.
One enemy remaining.
And I feel like that's perfectly reading what 100 Thieves are disgusting on that timeout. This high tide is so good. Not only does it hold A main, but it also splits up anybody and the positions that he can actually go for. And Bang left alone. First anti-eco for Furia, and they respond with a flawless of their own. 4 in a row now. And this is already the same amount of defensive rounds that Furia got against NRG last week in that deciding map.
It's crazy to think about. And honestly, you look at what's available to Furia and you realize there's good potential for even more. The Pit, the Seekers for Mazine and MW respectively. What do 100 Thieves do to turn the tides? Do they finally hit A? I mean, truly hit A.
I would love to see 100 Thieves try to punish that A main control that Furia is going for, because the longer this goes on, the less Furia is actually putting into that A main control. Now it's just the high tide. There's no longer that molly that's coming in. There's no longer 3 players going behind it too. So they're getting that for free, essentially. Yep. That high tide comes right back up. Are they really going to challenge this? Viper's Pit that Mazin has put up.
They have been wanting to go B a lot. And there's a good chance they do it again. They also have the Trailblazer out from MW to make sure there's nothing mid.
Okay.
No rotation from Fury yet, but Mazine already getting pushed off.
You should run.
They pushed him off and got the Killjoy lockdown down. That was the goal, but
He falls. The pit goes down with him. Now they have the lockdown. This feels like the first time 100 Thieves have gotten a lot of aggressive control here. They're going to vest the pit of their own.
that pit he actually can't be long with. He has to stay on the site, which is not a great position for Bang to have to be in.
Unless he's got some help, and he has plenty of it. Look, there's nobody playing down long.
Great high tide out from Stellar.
And Derek playing behind the pillar, expecting the pressure. He knows where it's coming from. The rest of 100 Thieves do as well. This is a rough way to go. He's only got 2 HP. Oh, the flash! No way! How is Derek still alive? Another going for 100 Thieves! TG trading it back, though. 3v2 quickly turns into a 3v none. 100 Thieves get back on the board.
An absolutely crazy decision, by the way, by Stellar. To just dog through, use the updraft dash out of Cryo to get top screens and pressure the crap out of Mazine. Mazine doesn't have many choices there. And it's wonderful that they have the confidence to be able to do that. Given the situation change, obviously they wanted to go for a lockdown down B long.
Don't give them ground.
At the beginning of that round. But then spotting that Viper's Pit and being able to adapt is quite nice.
Same A main aggression, same A main space that you've been referring to a couple of times now.
A little bit of a challenge, but maybe now they have the information to end up wanting to go hard through that wall.
Ooh, Bang is crouched.
This is so tough from Digizin. He can uncrouch at any position.
Yeah. Squatting in safety is Bang.
Here.
Oh, and you know he's not ready for this. I don't think he thinks anybody has crossed, given that orb hasn't gone up in quite some time.
Does he respect the possibility? Is that the cue he saw ahead?
Yes, he'll get out. Yep.
And he uses the blades? I wonder here, if 100 Thieves knowing that that's where the op is, yeah, you can see the spike is starting to rotate A, but they're still leaving some presence B. Just enough to draw rotations, to draw attention.
They just got QCK on the A site.
They invested Seekers too.
Okay, but they're hitting right now with only 2 players.
And the thing is, the rest of Fury is going to get here before the remaining members of 100 Thieves will.
They're planning backside, flipping this. On the Furia players like, look at Digizin right now.
He's taking mid.
He hears them.
He hears all of them. Oh! I thought the second was going to go with him. Deep flash, he still swings out. The blades don't land, but they do deal some damage.
He's gonna have to give up that op. They're still finding kills though. He did give up the op.
Look at how far back Khalil is. Meanwhile, they still have presence coming in from Art. That's a big kill going DG's way. Nicely traded by Derek though. 2v2. Cryo's weak. Time is short.
Remember how this is planted for both sides here.
They're on site. Cryo gets 2! Gets 4! With 2 HP!
There is not many choices there if you're Furia. 100 Thieves did a fantastic job at dealing with the situation. And quickly respond to tie it back up after that 4-round streak by Furia. It looked really, really good.
It was off of the timeout, if I remember correctly. So Fury now choosing to invest one of their own. See what they can do to get back towards their winning ways. What do you feel like you're seeing different out from 100 Thieves in these last 2 rounds relative to prior to the timeout?
I think having the decisiveness out of anything there. I mean, into that pit is such an impressive decision. And then here, spotting the op, getting the kill on A main, and being able to go into that site, realizing how spread Furia is very thinly. And then on top of that too, Cryo coming alive. I mean, obviously got the 4K just there, but also got the opener in the last one against Mazine, pushing him out of that pit. Cryo was a big factor for what Josh was saying in terms of 100 Thieves looking a lot better, even though they just played top 3 teams in the league, top 2 according to Benino's power ranking in Loud and NRG. And in my mind, it was, when I was watching them, I was thinking, wow, Cryo looks loose. Cryo looks like he's playing like the Jet that I saw early on before he even got picked up by Xset. Before he was locked into chamber jail. You know, where you have that movement that it's really tough to know exactly how the Jets are going to play. And I feel like Cryo has gotten there finally in the middle of the season. Or at the end of the season, I should say.
I mean, he's certainly well through it in this map, sitting at 10-5 right now. He's been such a big part of the discussion for 100 Thieves and their successes and honestly in their failures a lot of times. So for the 100 Thieves faithful, for him to be performing as well as he is this early in the series bodes quite nicely.
And look at the adjustment here out of Furia, pushing Digis in way up on top of that little hut in A main. Remember, last round it was Cryo to go look for a kill here, expecting, you know, Mazin, expecting QCK, expecting Khalil, one of the anchors. Now he has to deal with the op.
The op and DG. Cryo just a couple of steps away.
Well, look at this reclear. This is going to force them to peek A main because they just cleared into mid. And that flash actually doesn't spot anything because they didn't know that Cascade was there. Here it comes. It's a jump spot. You see him picking out his...
He is thinking about it. Trailblazer, holding, clearing.
Oh, wow. This is a really deep Reckoning. This is not going to get them all the way on the site, and they've responded with a Reckoning of their own with 40 seconds.
What does that do? That just throws the brakes on the whole round. It's going to force 100 Thieves to explore elsewhere.
And that might have been an interesting decision, but they didn't know where QCK was, so they didn't recognize that that was a possibility. And this is that situation that we saw in those first 4 rounds that Furia won, where they're rushing to get back into this.
And they're going to be rushing their way back towards B. 100 Thieves are going to have to get through the wall. The Viper walls are going to have to get into the mollies. They're going to have to get through all of the Killjoy utility, all of the Viper utility too. It's impossible to get through the line that they set.
Spike down B.
And we literally have seen this round.
4K for Khalil, flawless for Fury, and the lead once more.
Does that even count as a 4K? The dude killed 3 people with a molly.
Listen, it's in the stats, right?
And that's... There's a little bit of a dichotomy here going on with 100 Thieves because on some cases, these hits and the decisions that they're making, like we just saw with that Reckoning, is very decisive and it works. But when you get countered like that, that's when they're running into situations where they're indecisive. They don't know what to do and they make the wrong decision. And now they're forced back down to, I mean, they've got 2 hero rifles and knives out of Cryo. This is a dangerous round. And they can buy next.
You want to get this one if you want to keep it competitive. Alarm bot, the spam from Khalil. Not going to tag anyone.
Super fast here. But are they stalled out?
You're just talking about their decisiveness. How do you even think to look that high up? Well played by Cryo. QCK trying to funnel out though. That was well timed, but just for one from Derek.
Hitting that trade, but they're holding all the space in mid right now because of Digis in, but he has an up. This lockdown causes issues, but look at how they're marking. They're about to clear secret. They're about to clear spawn. I love what MW's doing though.
Will Cryo be aware? Looked like he was for just a moment, but it didn't matter. 2v2, Stellar with nothing but a frenzy.
They're not looking. Oh, he just made noise. He just made noise. He flashed
up, not able to do anything. He falls. Now Stellar again, who just has a frenzy, has to try to solve the round, and he cannot.
That was chaotic. MW flashed himself and then still got the kill. I like the idea there from Stellar by that high tide, by the way, instantly throwing it out, not controlling it at all, so he could walk out and spam that spike in the 1v2. But you get the entry here, and again, I mean, Furia, I guess, was due for a 4v5 conversion. They lost 2 just now, and now it's another one. So, I mean, just staying right on pace with their stats.
You got to keep them up, yeah.
This is already a dominant half, though, from Furia. Despite some of the nice things, maybe even brilliancies from 100 Thieves to break that streak. For them to now clap back with 2 in a row is... It's almost insurmountable.
QCK is taking this space in A main. He did just get hit with the flash, though. But off of that, 100 Thieves not really understanding if there's 1, if there's 3, if there's 4, who is it? That's on the other side of that flash. Decide to rotate back towards B. That did look like one of Derek's nanos just cleared out some of the utility that Khalil has had on that site. So you are starting to see some adaptations and some adjustments from 100 Thieves' side.
I would like to see that a lot earlier.
That's perfectly fair. That's hard to argue against.
Okay.
DG with the op, back sight.
They're trying to hold here.
And that may have been their biggest mistake.
Just destroyed. And again, first kill there for 100 Thieves. It feels like 100 Thieves is doing a really good job in these situations. Actually, it's 6 5 right now for 100 Thieves, despite the scoreline.
Yeah,
QCK is going to save.
Yeah, just carry that rifle over. Money doesn't look too bad on the side of Furia, but you want to carry that over anyway, so.
I think most importantly here, I mean, obviously, money's not really a factor for them. It actually is a factor for 100 Thieves, so losing a weapon would hurt, given that they're just going for the win here, and they forced all the way down. But look at the ult torch. There's 3 players who are 2 off. So any of those guys get a kill, they're 1 off, they can go for an ult strat. So I like the decision there from QCK. All it would take if they found him would be picking up an orb and going for it. And we've seen how important it is for them late in these halves.
That's a very good point.
1 enemy remaining.
Once again, a couple kills getting spammed through smokes and walls. It's just become so commonplace in this meta. But either way, last round of the half, 100 Thieves down by 1. Furia once again putting the op in DG's hands too.
Oh, Cryo's actually picked up the op from Digis in last round. So for the first time, we're having an attack op as well. They're baiting in QCK. Give and bang, lurking all the way down the pillar over and over. That could be a dangerous situation. This could be a very nice adaptation by Furia.
Yeah, as soon as you see DG dash away, you don't expect another there. And it's not only that, it looks like they're bringing NW into it as well.
Contact flash, QCK wide swings. You can see the setup here. It's poised for domination, but right now 100 Thieves still exploring that A side. And they've actually recognized, okay, there is no op on this side. So Cryo's actually staying by himself right now while they go for this. He's going to definitely die.
I mean, at best he takes 1, but
he's going so forward.
Wow. You called it. Meanwhile, the rest of the hit is going A. Everyone's there. Khalil still has some utility that unfortunately just got cleared out. As soon as the Ko moves up, it looks like they're going to commit to the spike. DG has blades too, so yeah, you might have the op, but I mean, you know how formidable he can be with that ult. It's just a matter of when he decides to forego the operator and go.
And when you have a weapon like this too, in your back pocket when you have knives, you can just go for a right click.
Right. They're patient. The
Great
first
volley.
to fall for Furia. 4v4 left here. Time is ticking away. Seller gets way too curious. Yeah, so does Asuna. DG with 3. QCK on this. Yeah, there's no stopping him. There's no stopping that. A 7-5 half for Furia.
That is a brutal half, I would say, for Furia. I think the silver lining is Furia's attack side was not great against NRG at all. But there, 100 Thieves cannot be happy with how that went. They were 5 and 4 for post plants when that is supposed to be a really good side for them.
So many rounds went back and forth on the other side of timeouts. We're going to take a look at things. The last few moments of the round one more time. Because again, it really was DG who cracked that thing open. 1 with the op, 2 with the blades, if I'm not mistaken, and the round for Furia. Let's throw it down to the desk to break down the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with the casters there, right? A rough start there, I think, for 100 Thieves, all things considered. Yes, it is going to be 7-5 for them, but, I mean, Josh, as we get ready for this next half, one has to wonder, right? Like, it just felt like the game plan, banking your season on this, it felt as if the game plan was a little shallow.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can see why it was their permaban. They're playing it as if... They're playing it the way that fans think Pearl should be played, where you just go B every time, and you don't do anything in mid, and you don't really draw attention anywhere else on the map. I thought the tactics didn't look great, and when they actually hit B, it wasn't really working either. So that's part of the problem to me. You take a look at what they were doing in rounds 3, 4, 5. They weren't creating enough pressure. They're getting spammed through the smokes. Cryo's getting melted by the mollies as well. They had a crazy rotate in round 9 where they tried to go all the way back from A main to B with like 20 seconds left on the clock and just ran in everywhere. They're not breaking the killjoy utility. They were getting murdered out there, Benita.
Yeah, they had a 3-1 default towards A, they had one towards B, and just nothing mid. They just didn't really focus on mid at all, which will result in like getting mowed down at times towards B. So.
Yeah, and that's rough too, right? Because you'd want to see those adjustments be made. But it's really hard as well to make those adjustments. And you have guys like Digizin who are just taking angles willy-nilly, whatever they want to do here. It's been actually awesome. That was 40 seconds he was perched up on that box. And 100 Thieves, nothing. You know what I mean? So, but you're seeing this matchup here. It seems like Digizin's definitely having a bit of a whale of a time out there.
Yeah, you can just tell by looking at him, his demeanor, his body language. He's very confident in his gameplay and his jet and the angles he's holding, even if it's multiple angles. So,
yeah, the way that he sets up, he really does expose himself to getting punished, but he doesn't care. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to hit the flick shot anyway. What of it? And the mad part is he's better on the attack side. The Furia normally get less than 5 rounds on their defense, and they're fine here. They're fine.
Well, this is going to be a little problematic for 100 Thieves. They're going to have a game plan because, you know, Furia is going to be coming with that force to send it back over to the casters.
Ominously foreboding from the desk, but I think, I mean, they're right in a lot of ways, and history tends to suggest that, yes, it's been close, at least at half for 100 Thieves, but Furia are going back into their sweet spot here, Balla.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I said before the half, the silver lining was that they only won 2 attack rounds against NRG, but NRG is a different beast on this map. I mean, they've been playing it the entire season. But then you also look back to some of the other halves from Furia, 9-3 against MIBR on attack. Like, they're definitely capable of having those dominant halves that 100 Thieves should have had on that first.
Furia looking to end A. You're starting to see some of the spams, and DG's already picking up another one. 16 kills so far.
He just dry-faced in front of the wall. And Derek's gonna get chased down, but he has actually help from Cryo.
Well held. The flash isn't gonna hit him though. DG still wreaking havoc.
2 players low on both sides.
Last player standing.
That's big from Bang. That's big from Derek, and that's big for 100 Thieves.
But remember, they won the pistol in that first half, and the scoreline still dire. So we'll have to see them not only have a flawless anti-eco, but continue with that economic boom that they got. There's the kill. Kills coming in from Bang. On the back side of that, again, 2 players really low, so those shots easy, but also clean with the aim. 2 headshots. And I do want to point out, Benita said that there was no mid control from 100 Thieves at all. And that's something they were doing, was throwing the old Viper orb inside of B-Link, and they were never using the high tide that Loud and so many other teams have been using. I wouldn't be surprised to see Furia instantly show them how it's done.
You're already seeing an early focus on prioritizing orbs towards Stellar. You just took the 1A main with Cryo close by. But you're right, mid presence for the first time all map. And they're rewarded for it.
I mean, this guy is nasty. 18 and 8 with a Sheriff there, long range.
Gun here.
That's not easy to do.
They trampled their way down B and momentarily delayed by the Nano. Derek close by, the first to fall, re-peek onto the second.
Cascade gonna block his position now. Mazzini even hears Cryo right now.
Oh! That was pistols. That was straight up.
And they're taking it back towards A. They're gonna get a plant down, which is already a win for Furia in that category.
Just barely missing the timing. I mean, half a step and Stellar can spam. Potentially.
What? Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened. That also shouldn't have happened.
Hello?
Still a Bulldog. In the hands of Derek. Still a Ghost in the hands of Cryo.
They hear where both of them are coming from right now.
I mean, this could be disastrous.
I mean, lucky for them, neither player picked up a weapon here, but I mean, that classic is a Vandal.
Yeah, they've gotten this far without it. TCK, 43 HP.
They don't know where Digizin is.
They have no idea. That's another going down to the classic.
He thinks he's backside. He thinks he's backside.
He's just guessing.
Poor guy. And there's no time.
Yeah, he just has to delay now. He doesn't even have to take the fight.
Wow.
The benefit is that it seems like 100 Thieves are going to keep a weapon, but my goodness, what a thrifty round for Furia.
Oh no, that just breaks the mental. 3 kills by QCK's classic.
And the funny, it wasn't like right clicks and jumping around the corner or anything like that.
He took bangs from last round and added it into this one. Acted like they had no armor.
Enemy kill.
Oh my goodness, man.
That's so clean. Twice.
I mean, it's only 8-6 right now, but I'm scratching my head thinking that's the dagger. If I lose that round there after that half, if I'm 100 Thieves.
Remember, this is the only rifle that they have in the hands of Cryo. He still gets one, but flashed up, not able to do much more. They're not even at a place where they can really pick it up. It's just Marshall in the hands of Derek.
Heal up, squad.
Look how much space Furia still is gaining here. With that wall going up and as well with the control that Dijin throws out, that smoke on the back hall. They're happy to just sit there, collect the orb, reconsider their options, tell Khalil to see if he can find something. And by the way, Khalil has maintained control of Art and A main right now. Not fully A main or anything like that, but he knows that there's no flank, so they have so much room to pivot into this.
Spike.
And 100 Thieves is thinking, let's gamble here. I think, especially with that Bulldog, they recognize what's going on right now, but they're still going to spend time trying to re-clear B-Long with 40 seconds left.
Placing swarm grenade.
Asuna did use a flash on B-Long too, so they're not going to have that for the retake, which seems like where we're headed.
Okay, if I'm Furia
30
here,
seconds left.
the call is don't give up any weapons. And I don't think that call's been made. Digison is going deep.
Yeah, or it has been, and DG's just choosing to ignore it. He's close by. Phantom in hand, and he's got help too from MW. They do such a good job of setting him up for success, but oh dear.
Guys, that's 2 weapons there. Derek's gonna pick one up easily. They have a chance here. But there is no vision blocker, and it's not even planted for Khalil, so they're really thinking he's going for a flank.
And it looks like it was just the Bulldog. Khalil sees them both, drops them both.
Calculated. Bot coming back.
I mean, 2 rounds that I think 100 Thieves should have won. I don't think Furia should have gone for that secret play, and you could see why. It's so committed, but I didn't realize that they planted back sight. So that's the difference there. They really expected that there was maybe a push from B main going back to flank them A main or something like that. And they didn't really go check for that information, whether it's happening or not. Furia is still winning that round. They're still able to get a buy. 100 Thieves might have put a little bit of a dent in the economy. If that didn't happen, you know, you're seeing Furia have a bank for days. Now that doesn't exist. But it still was just an anti-eco here.
Thieves on more even footing. They also have the Reckoning that just came online for Stellar. And you already see some of the stark difference on how they play the rest of the map. Furia's attacking side, presence B-Link, things like that, which wasn't really what we saw at all in the previous half. But either way, Furia want to commit B. Dash is through, and Dash is through so close, but Bang is there to greet.
I suggest you move.
That Reckoning's really deep.
That's off the map.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to find very much value at all.
Did he get stunned with the last pulse or no? It's gone.
Got one.
Much more effective is Stellar's. As QCK has a spike, he's sitting back sight. He hasn't even been able to commit to the plan. Khalil is close.
Tap and maybe go for kills here.
Derek, waiting. Oh,
what?
Boy. Oh, boy.
He's moving.
2v2. Spike's still not down.
left.
Spike's still back sight, and I don't know that there's much of an easy way out of this.
Here's High Tide back up. Are they going to fight back?
Cryo with the op. The tap once again, a feint, a fake, a repositioning.
Wow, he got all the way to the safe plant right there.
Flooding them.
Spike planted.
Khalil he's got an alarm bot, he's got a turret. No nanos on it.
They're fighting behind this cascade right now. I wanted to see Stellar's cooldown, 20 seconds on High Tide.
Oh, that's so bold, and it works out. It pays off. I mean, that's a gutsy position there from Furia, and it works.
Yeah, they just used that cascade that Stellar was using to actually hold time until that High Tide. And they knew they could not fall down back B-Long. Given the situation that was in front of them, that spike was planted safe. I mean, that's just...
Yeah, that's just silly. That's just silly.
Furia are so good in these late round situations where it's scrappy, where they have to make weird decisions, where they have to make split-second decisions, like walking behind the cascade that Stellar just put down. And I think Benita even mentioned that at the beginning, like as a reasoning for why they're so good in these man-down situations. It's what happens when you have a lot of assertive players who can call, who can mid-round, because they thrive in those positions. We've seen it all game.
They're also gutsy enough to make those decisions too, right? It's not just safe decisions, things like that. Like they're willing to gamble and keep teams on the back foot, as we just saw for 100 Thieves. So timeout called from them, a 4-round lead for Furia. As we get out of this timeout, we'll take a look at money, we'll take a look at ults and everything else to attempt to help us understand what the rest of the half holds.
I don't know if there's much, Doug.
Nope.
We got Knives out of Cryo. They will go for a stinger or two. And they're one off of both Bang's Viper's Pit and Derek's Lockdown. But on the flip side, too, you're starting to get tools up. The same tools from Furia. 2 pips off, though. But they have the guns. So, I mean, against this light buy, it's basically an anti-eco here for Furia.
We've had one thrifty round this map, but it was Furia who was dealing it. We'll see if 100 Thieves can replicate that success. And you can see the setup is already intended on finding value for Cryo.
Looking for something with the knives. Do you have to credit 100 Thieves for that anti-eco that they almost, or that eco that they almost won, where Khalil had the 1v2. But that was such a crazy round that I don't know if you're going to be able to replicate that. That was more mistakes from Furia than anything else.
They're loud about it. Derek should know. The spam is
Whoa, what?
But the flash.
He gets through into dugout. That is such a ridiculously cool dash that I have not seen before.
Let's see if we can get a replay of that from his POV after the round. But for now, 100 Thieves still trying to fight to reestablish control of the site. And well, it's just not going well at all. Not one bit. A flawless round for Furia, and they've cracked the map open.
Ditcherson is a monster in these last two series. 21-10 and showing things like that sometimes. Anti-eco, but I mean, such a beautiful little dash into dugout. You see it from Derek's POV. How do you deal with that?
You just really can't.
He's full blind too, trying to fall out. You think you have so much space secret to fall back there. You don't actually.
Nope.
And if you're not prepared for that, you never know that. You think it's the regular execute. Don't worry about it. A mid pit? That's a bold decision.
I mean, they've explored mid some, but either way, 100 Thieves seem concerned about that area of the map, so they invest the ult to control it.
You should run.
I think the thing is, when you put such a valuable tool, though, if you were going for mid control by Furia, you just say, okay, let's pivot into a B-long thing. And that's what's happening. Not necessarily because I think they just wanted B-long right off rip, but look at Digizin, he got into B-Link right now. He's gonna backstab.
He's so far up, and there's the pit.
He's trapped, though. Oh, actually, he's not. Mazina's here to actually save that space.
And all of a sudden, the defenses of 100 Thieves can get pinched. Look at DG, he's going into their spawn. So you're gonna have spawn you're gonna need to deal with. You're gonna have a link you're gonna need to deal with.
It's planted for Digizin too. Even if they do control B-long, this is still a tough situation.
It's gotta be fast out of Furia though, because if 100 Thieves start to win some of these fights like they are, Austin has already got the second, the third on the round for him. It may be a little bit too late. Now Digizin shows up and he gets decapitated right off the bat. 1v3 from Mazin. The defuse through. And not a moment too soon.
Well handled. You think that B-long is actually gonna be a lot harder to deal with. With 3 players still there, yeah, you're missing 2. But that's still a bulwark for Furia, and it gets ripped apart by the shaky Asuna aim. And then Cryo as well.
Oh, what a shot.
What a shot. Cryo has not lost a beat since that last game against Loud, where I was so impressed with him. He's starting to be that Cryo that was promised at the beginning of the year.
He's gonna have a chance to impress even more. That's DG too, that's their entry tool.
And there's that movement that I'm talking about. They're even dodging that final pulse, making it go out, but actually might have caused Derek to be stunned backside. Either way, not finding a kill with that, through that high tide, Furia opts to back off, and obviously Digizin lost his life early. They don't have that dash through the high tide.
Now what do Furia do here?
It's a 4v5, man.
Yeah, that's true. They do win these. They do win these a lot. A lot more than conventional wisdom would suggest.
Right now, it's 4 wins and 4 losses in 4v5 situations.
I'd take those odds any day. A 50-50 when you're down a person? Yep. Any day of the week. And Furia have spread themselves pretty thin here. Mazine is still playing down B long, but everyone else is towards A.
Austin's flash didn't pop right now, so they're gonna have to clear this with numbers, actually.
30 seconds
Look at the
left.
double flank going on again. It feels reminiscent of that other round. But will Furia find success with it, though?
Khalil's ahead of it, but it looks like Derek is wise to it. Or at least had a suspicion, had an inkling. Mazine falls. Khalil now choosing this moment to strike. And now with 10 seconds left, it looks like they are going to get the spike down unless it's delayed for just a moment. Khalil holding the line back.
Can he get out?
I mean, does he want to get out? No, yeah. Tried, but not enough. Cryo with 3 on the round, and 100 Thieves get another.
Getting close here. It is definitely getting close. Love to see 100 Thieves holding on despite some really devastating losses early in this half. And despite that disgusting scoreline for Furia's defense. We haven't really talked much about stakes right now, but you can, I think, tell for 100 Thieves that this is do or die. They've got to get a win to even really keep this in their hands.
It's almost scripted. We get a timeout to talk about the stakes even more because Bala, as you think about what's next for these teams, for Furia, yeah, they're okay, but you're right, for 100 Thieves, you kind of have to win this one and the next one, and the next one is against what many would consider to be a weaker opponent in MIBR, but you can't even really think about that yet.
Oh yeah, I mean, in order to clinch playoffs, and it's not even a clinch, it's an unofficial clinch depending on tie breaks and stuff like that, so it's not even still in their hands. They need to win too to get there though. For Furia, it's the opposite, right? They could lose both and still make the tie breaks. But a single win will unofficially clinch them. So a lot less pressure on them, I would say. And for 100 Thieves, I mean, they've gone through a streak of really tough opponents. Out of the last 3, you had Leviathan, you had Loud, and you had NRG.
Yeah, it's a bad time, man.
I mean, add Furia to that list, and you have to, if you're 100 Thieves, you have to get 1 out of 4 of those.
They've won the last 2 rounds. They're hanging on here. They're keeping it close. They've got an opportunity to take the map away. Lighter buy for Furia here, a Stinger, and then a pistol as well, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of aggression. Another kill.
And wow, I mean, hey, they just took Furia's A control.
Yeah.
To the T, and Furia wanted to challenge. You could see both early kills immediately, and it is a lighter buyout from Furia. But Mazin recovers the Vandal.
And it looks like they're going to want to push forward with the Trailblazer. A flash towards A main. Now you start to see some of that utility from Stellar start to dump. But it's instantly disrespected. They just cross right by it. DG falls. But Mazine does have art control.
Last player standing.
Yeah, it's a bit spread
Spike
here.
down mid.
Spread real thin when there were just 2 left. They both fall. A flawless round for 100 Thieves.
Crush them. I'm amped. Let's go. I got
Tell
things to do.
emotions have shifted here in the arena. Because we're within 2 now. 100 Thieves really have a chance at bringing this back in. I mean, Cryo has been snappy with his op. And I think that's a big key here for Fury going forward. How to start denying him, how to use the tools that they have, which only is MW, by the way. Obviously, they have the vision blockers, but MW specifically to go out and find where Cryo is.
Stellar's Reckoning's about to come online again. Just picked up the Werb. I thought just for a moment that Furia would try to go pacey B, but...
It felt like that, right? Wonder if they traded orbs. I wonder if they think, even still, they can bring this back in. I think they should have noticed that Stellar's ult got picked up here. Somebody on the team must have noticed that. And it's funny, Furia is really finally going for an A split. They haven't broken any utility now.
There was just a moment of flashes, just a little early from Asuna. And now Reckoning's invested. A couple of balls traded back and forth. You start to see some of that Killjoy utility in play, delay things for a moment, put a pause on the aggression.
Yeah.
Can they clear Bang? He's got the fallback angle. He got the fast flank too, if he so desires.
Spams through the wall, nothing landing quite yet. Now you've got the Viper Spear. You're going to have to navigate the Bang. Timing is gorgeous. MW falls. Stellar getting another. And the attack side of Furia just continues to crumble. What can DG do? What can Khalil do? Against this battering ram of 100 Thieves, this onslaught that's been left for them to try to navigate. Nothing but a whimper.
Happy that this is definitely not falling off for Furia, or for 100 Thieves. Starting off this week, we saw every single game is going to be a battle of North America versus South America. And right now, we seem to be going to distance here in map 1 on Pearl. And again, let me remind you, this is not a map that 100 Thieves has played. They've been permabanning it the entire time. Furia letting it slip, it feels like. And again, looking like that fast B-long hit that we thought was going to come in. It might still not come in here, but I think they know where Cryo is. That's a lot of damage done. Oh my goodness. Crouch down low. Crouch down low.
Dodged everything, and he still gets one. Tries to get away, but DG's there to drop him.
Every time. They've actually continued to press on this B-long. Cryo's gotten the kill. But this time he doesn't get out. I mean, immediately putting Bang back in that position, that is a lot of misdirection, trying to use the old position of Cryo.
Still has to be aware, though, is Bang. Because Mazine has slipped right past the utility that was intended to find him.
This is so hard to clear.
Bang cannot fall asleep here. He does not.
Where are Furia trying to go right now? The spike's left in no man's land. There's a flank happening down B-long, while there's Art presence as well.
The concerning thing, too, is this is not the first round that feels that way for Furia. Where they
30
seem,
seconds left.
I don't want to say directionless, but maybe a little unsure, a little hesitant in where they want to go and how they want to execute the round.
Dash activated.
Doesn't help when Cryo's able to get value, but again, it was traded right back.
They're going to be able to get the plant here, especially with that clearance.
Do they flood?
10 seconds left.
DG's already up top. No, they just want to play for this post plant.
It's planted safe, so again, you have to play up here if you're Furia.
Sure, I mean, how this is the angle that we're talking about, right? Like, you don't expect DG in a spot like this. Another kill going in favor of him. I thought he was going to drop the hammer on him as well. 2v2. The spike continues to slowly but surely tick away Derek's left.
A high tide gives so much room for MW backside now.
In a clutch situation, 8 bullets left. Too many things to consider. Too many sides to watch. Vision denied. A 1v1. The snap is there. He sees the gun. But it's just MW playing a game of chicken, daring him to get off the spike. MW with 3. Furia with 12.
I was thinking to myself when we were saying Furia looked directionless in that round. They're so good in those situations. So, like, despite trying to find openings, despite feeling like it's disjointed, I mean, low-key feels like a hive mind in those situations, especially once they got on the site, once they recognized there was nobody from 100 Thieves defending it with Digizin's dash. Everything from there was then brilliant. Digizin staying up on that off angle, you were pointing it out, and now they've gotten themselves to match point.
Get out of my way.
But the economy's not great for them, so 100 Thieves, this is a big opportunity to bring it to overtime. Flash didn't spot anything, but Cascade blocks the vision. They're going for this. Finally, the hit.
If Bang can get a kill, he can have pin on mine. But that's a big if when you're facing the Fury of Furia. As they barrel their way down into the site, they take all the space they want.
And what feels like the first time they're going to get an actual B-long plant.
To potentially put the map away. DG playing with Blades backside. QCK is the first to fall. One for one here. Those blades, yeah, you saw that shorty in his face. It's the Phantom that finds value on the bang, and there that goes. 3v3 though. The round's still up for grabs. Cryo spammed, I thought, yep. 2 down by Pillar. And Khalil not far off. It's just Cryo now with way too much to do. Yeah, he gets Khalil, but ultimately drops. Furia take map 1.
13-10. It looked like it could have been much more dominant. But at the end of that game, feels like, I mean, that was another 4v5. Another 4v5 in that situation. They end at 6 and 7 on those situations. And 100 Thieves have got to start converting those because I think they're getting those kills early.
Yeah.
But when Fury starts to brawl, 100 Thieves start to fall.
It's crazy to think that 1, maybe 2 of those go their way. We're having a different conversation. It's also, I mean, you imagine if you're 100 Thieves here, and this one hurts. Cryo played exceptionally well. I mean, he went toe-to-toe with DG the entire time. And he was able to keep up in the numbers with them. So a map that feels like they certainly had a fighting chance and not able to convert.
Such an amazing game, though, to start off. And I think now that we get out of that uncomfortable territory for 100 Thieves, you're talking about a real series down the line. You're talking Fracture next. And Fury have not gotten a win on that map yet.
0-2. Wow, the record for 100 Thieves isn't that great either. 1-3. We'll see how Furia plays out on the other side of this break. We'll be right back.
What is this from EA? He is currently unstoppable. He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo.
Hey guys, it's EA. Welcome to my course on optimal Valorant training. I'm going to be demonstrating now some angle clearing. I'll slowly come around the corner as well, making sure no one's on these off angles.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.
Came through with it again. They know that I got spirit with a pen. Don't know why they try to compete when they know that in victory it's never gonna end. Them in a week, that's why they could never speak. They ain't like me, I take it to the peak. Different type of steeds that I breed. Wheel up on the mic, they won't get one of these. Please, I don't wanna hear no talk from them. I don't wanna see nothing at all from them. They can't do it like me. So all I wanna see really is a round of applause from them. Vibes in the air, we cause it again. Life isn't fair, but we rode it again. All of my teams being ready for the war, there's no warning for them. Tell them again, I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We up, you never got one of them. Top of the pound yet again. They can't stop this child not again. Reigning champ, I won't lose it. So you know I'm gonna win that again. Tell them again. Tell them again. Tell them again. Tell them again. I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We up, you never got one of them. Top of the pile yet again. They can't stop this child not again. Reigning champ, I won't lose it. So you know I'm gonna win that again. Tell them 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 again. I ain't here to make up no friends. I just came through yet again. We look, you never got one of them. Top of the
It was a bold move, Kai, not gonna lie, as 100 Thieves took us to Pearl, but unfortunately for them, they will lose that first map against Furia, going down 1-0 in the series as we get ready for map number 2. I'm Golden Boy here, of course, joined by Sideshow and someone covering for all the hair for all of us. It's Benita here. And I think, like, you know, let's just dive right into the breakdowns real fast here and talk about some of the top performers, because I think coming out of that, again, all eyes on Digizin, all eyes on Cryo, the Jets, Josh, performing what you would want them to do. It's just unfortunate for Cryo that he has to hold an L here.
It's kind of wild, actually. Cryo has been so much better since week 4, and yet 100 Thieves haven't been able to translate that into wins. You don't really expect them to be able to do it here because Pearl was their permaban, and to me, Benita, they kind of look like a team that had something going for them, but just not enough experience on the map.
Yeah, I mean, they did look a little lackluster, but honestly, all props to DG?
Digizin, yeah.
You're tight like that?
Yeah. I think you want a duelist like this on every team. You want your duelist to be like this, fearless.
Yeah.
This is also just disgusting. The fact that they win 6 out of 13 of their 4v5 situations. Now, there's a couple of things there. One, I mean, just watch the majesty of how these rounds end up playing out as the teams, as Furia just take control of the rounds. But also, think about this. They ended up having more first deaths than they did first kills, right? So, because there's 13 to start with.
Yeah.
And they're winning 46% of those situations. They're already, on average, winning just over a third of those spots. That's already amazing. That is like top tier, S tier performance. You're amazing if you can win over a third of your player disadvantage situations.
Yeah,
and they're winning nearly half.
And that is absurd when you really think about why they're in these situations, because we were seeing it happen throughout the game, Benita, where they started to be a little bit more aggressive, and then 100 Thieves were answering that back and be like, oh, you want to be aggressive? We'll punish you. But even when you punish them, they still find a way to win. That has to be frustrating to play against.
Yeah, I think one of the key rounds was in the 3v4 in the retake at B.
Yeah.
100 Thieves decided to give it up, which I think is okay. It's okay to give it up. You're up a man advantage, and they were able to just scrap up the post plan, win the round.
Yeah, it's nutty how this team, even when they're a man down, can still find a way to pull off the wins here. But before map 2, though, let's go ahead and head into our, as usual, Aim Lab shoot around. This week, we're checking in on the homie Derek, and it will give us an opportunity to talk more about 100 Thieves as we get ready for map 2. Because now we're going to go to Fracture, and you know, could this be the bounce back, Josh, the 100 Thieves are looking for here? And could players like Derek be potentially the catalyst for that?
Well, to start with, you look at the side of Furia, they've been poor on this map. But their most recent loss was a 9-13 against Cloud9, who are fantastic. I mean, you ranked them 3rd in Benita's trademark power rankings, but they are really good on that map. And they run a weird comp where Digizin goes over to the Raze, and then they were playing the Fade and the Omen, and kind of like a Na'Vi style comp. And on the other side of things, 100 Thieves have been running the Jet, they've been running Sky Breach. They got clowned on in the NRG game in a mirror match. And I think the way that 100 Thieves have played that in general has been very formulaic. You know, Derek's there on the bridge. He's flashing players in, playing really aggressive. They love playing aggressive on the defensive side. I feel like they need a refresher to make sure this goes to a map 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think Furia not experiencing a win on Fracture yet it's just going to benefit them.
Yeah.
And I think they've learned probably a lot from their 0-2, and they could pull off a win here.
Yeah, because you also have to be doing, like, you know, simulating what the draft is going to potentially be here. And there is a world where they thought that Fracture might come into play here.
Oh, definitely.
I can't see, you know, Carlisle and the rest of the crew just being like, you know, I don't think we're going to get Fracture.
No. I think Fracture is absolutely the most anticipated pick, and it looks like they're heading potentially in a different direction already. Now, Furia have run different comps in the past. They had Digizin playing Neon at one point.
Yes, I want that.
Really, it's wide open. Whatever they want to go.
We get it!
Okay, and they're going back
Let's
to the
go!
Interestingly, the Cypher is going to help them out a lot, I think, with the way that 100 Thieves play aggressive on defense. You got the cam, you got the trip, you don't have to be playing in close range. You can avoid getting crunched on and still be providing information for Digizin to react aggressively on other parts of the map. I mean, this comp looks like they're ready.
Yeah. It's so difficult to stop Neon, who's just in flow state, so.
Yeah. What is it about Neon in particular, Benita, that makes it challenging to stop? Yeah.
The pace of Neon, sometimes you just feel so you know, like confined and can't
Suffocated,
find
if
the,
you
yeah,
will.
suffocated is the right word. He can't find the solution.
And to be clear, right, they weren't great at it last time they played. So the Neon comp, while it's exciting and it's interesting and it looks like they've got a read on what 100 Thieves are going to do, their execution was not up to scratch last time they pulled out a comp that was similar to this. So that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, it's all good to have the theory there, but does it come into practice?
All right, well, you heard from the analysts. Now it's time to get ready for the game. Digigen's looking to go fast, and 100 Thieves is looking to send this one to a map number 3. Let's send it back to the Premier's deadliest duo. It's, of course, Doug and Ballo.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy. Yeah, one map down. It was a close one. Pro goes 13-10 in favor of Fury, but now we get back to Fracture, and now we get back towards Neon's conniving ways.
And I think the discussion that we're having about switching up the comp for Fury is very interesting too, but you're looking at 100 Thieves that have had some success on Fracture, but not the most. They're sticking with the same ideas, and Furia kind of flip-flopping. And I think something that Josh mentioned on Pearl was that 100 Thieves might have had to double prep, right? They might have had to prep for the Neon comp that they had on Pearl and also the Jet comp. And here it's the same thing, but Furia is opting to go back towards it. So if 100 Thieves prepped for the wrong ideas here, it might end up costing them. Furia kind of playing the mind games inside of this Fracture picks.
100 Thieves on the attacking side, and it's going to be an instant clash against that Neon that we've been talking about. Dish, the only thing separating these two squads, and DG's already gotten one. He gets away with murder, too.
I can't believe he traded the stuns there and is able to get out. By the way, Austin just used his Trailblazer all the way into halls through sands and didn't catch anything. So that actually might end up giving them information here that they want to go back up in towards A, given that sands might be clear. But look, they're actually going for a re-clear.
Yep, sands got filled in instantly. DG's there, Mazine's close by.
There could be a really fast flank here on A main.
That flash intended to make Mazine turn away for just a moment. Hey, he was lost. He was confused.
Spike
Cleared everything out. Now turning their attention back towards A, where you see some of the utilities there to set him up once again. And it's a 1-for-1. 3v3 left here on the round. Spike ticking away. Mazine trying to deal some damage, and he cannot. This 100 Thieves trying to force their way through. And they do. A 4K for Bang.
Every single pistol so far gone to 100 Thieves. So they got both on Pearl, they still lose that map. And now here, on the attack side again, see if they go for those 4 rifles that we saw on Pearl. I don't think they even have really the money for it, given that only 2 people got kills that round, Bang and Stellar. I like the idea here from Furia to go re-clear and haul super fast. But like you said, there's a lot of time spent there for Digigen after you open that door to go back and re-clear outside of A main. Right there. Before then going to fight. And that gave time for that stun to come back up for Derek.
Camera taken out.
They're patient on this one. Stellar on the northern side of the map with the turret to help, making sure there's no aggression coming towards them. While the rest of the team is spread out, trying to clear things out. You just saw the Trailblazer spin all the way into halls towards MW.
Is that faucet going off? I got scared there for a second.
It sounds like that was enough to pull their attention towards B. That was QCK on an island as well.
I think he's trying to show himself a lot there to force them back, but instead, 100 Thieves uses that as an opportunity to take that site. Says it's only the Cypher. He's probably going to be the one alone.
Yeah.
If there is a stack going on. And at this point, with 3 players coming through spawn, that is probably the least scary situation, especially given 100 Thieves just fell right back, and they've got a Molly lineup for Bang, and they're playing tree real far back.
They also have the alarm bot that was dropped by Stellar to make sure no one pushes in from the northern side. Yeah, this round is wraps.
Fury actually playing so far back because a lot of times when you're 100 or when you're the attack side, you win the pistol, you can use this as an eco farming opportunity to get orbs up on a specific player like Stellar, who's 3 orbs up already, and Bang, who's 1 off his ult. And he's gonna get it because Digigen dives in from arcade side, kind of nullifying the work that all the players from his team were doing in spawn.
Bang with plenty of reason to smile there, because as you were saying, he now has that orbital strike online.
See how he chooses to use it. you're gonna want to use it here on this bonus. For sure. And I'd even recommend reinvesting if you did lose anybody, which they didn't. I'd recommend upgrading some rifles here because you have a major chance at converting this bonus. I haven't seen that so far in this series, but everybody knows how much of a big difference that can make.
Similar setup from what we saw previously, but it's a bit pacier this time.
He dashed on him and gets the kill with it too.
That's a good sign. Very good sign if Cryo's making plays like that, trying to be aggressive and decisive in his movements.
And now they have the option, even if they do take this site, to end up playing for that ult. They won't get it just yet, though, despite the 2 kills. And I'm worried here. Mazin is coming on the flank. You have a lot of space actually known on this A side because of the camera from QCK. Right now, he's thinking if the one player on this A side can force them to rotate back towards B, I can get a crazy angle. He's going to give up the flank, and Khalil's in trouble.
And once again, overwhelmed. We saw it in the first round, where it was QCK that was just overwhelmed. This time for Khalil. This is.
They say they have to save.
Yeah.
All right.
This is an excellent start for 100 Thieves. I think that the silver lining, or the icing on the cake, if you will, on an already sweet situation, is that you've managed to keep the orbital strike.
Yeah, I would have liked to see a bigger attempt there from Furia to try to prevent that from going into chaos. But I think they were already deciding if Khalil can't hold that site or he can't get 2 kills or anything like that, then we're gonna save. Because I could see in the way that Mazin was playing on B tree there, he just walked up into the corner and was just playing as if he was waiting for them to fall back into him or walk back into him. Bang, we'll get out here, don't worry. I see. When he missed that jump, everybody in the crowd was like, oh no!
I evaluated their strategy.
And bonus converted, 3 in a row. Honestly, might be one of the biggest streaks from 100 Thieves so far. Or matching on Pearl.
I mean, a bonus converted, and I think the crazier thing too is it wasn't just that they won the round, but they did so with losing very little.
Yeah.
They still have a Spectre.
I'm interested to see that battle for Digizin, who, by the way, gets one of those Phantoms that were saved. So they shift the Phantom to him, and they go really aggressive here in tree. Bang set up for a Molly on tower to keep this arcade pressure coming in, and they have set up Digizin. But the Molly missed, and they just sneak right back in. Not a big factor. Stellar still gets the kill.
Yeah, that's Spectre working out. You heard Orgo strike used too. Some interesting options was how they're set up here. DG still not relenting on giving up the space on the site. Finally forced off the angle right into Cryo's crosshair. And it's another situation where we're gonna have to wait a long time until the end of the round.
We got a lot of these early in the season.
Yeah.
And as the season's progressed, as more pressure has come on, people have been going for situations. But yeah, no, I mean, QCK, just in his camera. I don't think he's moved. Let's see if we can communicate. Have you moved this round? He's thinking about it. Yes, he moved. He said he moved.
I mean, the finances for 100 Thieves are outrageous. And you see it on your screen. Cryo still has the least amount of money, and he's at 2,300 credits.
Not thinking too much about that round, given the situation for Fury. Only 2 rifles. And they go for that B control that didn't net them anything. I think about what makes them make a play like that, and I think you just throw it in every once in a while. Or you see something, and I don't think there's been anything seen. What I do see from 100 Thieves, though, is a little bit more on this attack side so far. That Molly from the south side, behind that smoke, you're so far back in the tree area, in the B main area, that the arcade players are taking all the contact. Forcing the players in towers to be stuck in tower. Or the flip side, not allowing anybody to be in tower, so you get that for free if you go up that rope. So that execute really nice. I would like to see it again from 100 Thieves.
And 100 Thieves fans rolling deep today. I want some chaos too. It's a really nice sign. Very well done. Just a couple seconds now, and again, if you think back to the end of the previous round, there was a lot of time for Furia to deliberate over what they've got. So there's the extended time at the end of the round, the timeout call too. This feels like a really big round in a lot of ways.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Furia right now. Full buy back up. Still a couple players on light armor. They're not a team that has been really going for light armor strat. I mentioned that pretty much every time we see them play. 100 Thieves as well. I mean, they've got bank for days. Just a flash tree, checking if they're going to be aggroing. Mazin's got his fault line just out for nobody to peek there. And they're really trying to bait out a peek here in arcade. Camera broken. QCK for the first time, it feels like he's actually going to have to do something.
He gets to play the game.
And they're re-clearing in halls. They're going to play behind this alarm bot. Stellar knows that there can be somebody there. And Austin is coming back right now. He could Trailblazer this. Or flash. And they're really committed to this halls pressure. So if 100 Thieves sees that there's two there, they're going to pounce on drop.
There's the Trailblazer. Both are spotted. They invest a lot too to try to keep him back. The seize and the stun.
Smoke keeps them back off of drop though. Surprised they didn't just react into this site. That might cost them. But still the players from Furia staying in this.
DG avoided that fault line. He avoided the fault line. Deals a ton of damage onto Bang, and he drops Cryo. What?
What?
Well responded though. The ult popped and then instantly dropped. Numbers in favor of 100 Thieves. They're going to heal him up. They're going to have site control. They're going to get the spike down too.
Spike planted. Right here.
Every round, 100 Thieves is coming out with the advantage. Every round. They're getting this situation. Finally, Furia has the men to actually challenge. And that has just fallen out by the wayside instantly.
I mean, Mazin still has an alarm bot he has to get by if he wants to continue this.
Every single player coming from a different spot there. There's almost no play with each other outside of those first two initial kills.
It's another save.
Finally regrouping. Biggest streak so far for 100 Thieves in the series. This one, probably the most dominant of the streaks. On Pearl, a lot of times, some of those rounds that Furia put together where 100 Thieves making mistakes or making a late round decision that really costed them. Here it feels like it's just the strats from 100 Thieves are causing Furia to fall apart. Every decision is good, and they're making it look incredibly clean.
One down.
5-round lead for them. Stellar close by to having his ult in Cryo as well, but given the finances that they have, I can't imagine that's used anytime soon.
And they're forcing down almost every round here because of the saves. So they're really not able to get back into the economic shade ever.
Stellar switched back to playing the northern side of the map with the turret.
I mean, how is Cryo getting so much space alone in halls?
Just contact the whole way. Sliving his way past the defenses. The Prowler's not going to catch because he's ahead of it at this point. He even tries to peek while the door's open. So well played.
Remember,
remember, DG had an opener in the previous round too.
Only the second first kill for Furia.
Meanwhile, QCK getting all sorts of pressure. There's nothing coming in from the northern side, so he can focus his attention all in one way. Once again, sidestepping the fall line, and once again, value.
First 4v3 situation here for Furia. First real attempt at a round win outside of that pistol. Great stun, double stun.
Oh! Shorty! I mean, I guess it's pretty free when you have a Neon dashing into your crosshair like that. Wanting to get as close as she can. Are you gonna get another with the shorty? Spotted.
Oh, I'm out of there.
Yep, I'd be too. A reposition. Asuna cannot find any more.
I think there's a molly falling here soon from Bang. Actually, it's on there right now.
Heidi goes on top! Cryo looking to make a play, but it's all gonna be on a Bang. 20 HP. It's halved. Oh, he didn't get it to half.
It's over.
He's gonna have to start all the way back. And Bang gets the kill.
Ay, ay, ay. That reaction for the most part was on 100 Thieves decisions in the last map, but here Furia making me question some of these plays. And the thing is, in that situation, I think QCK, oh my goodness, that was a flick too. Most situations, QCK, there's two people diving through your cage, you're getting both of them. I mean, that's such an odd play overall. They try to come out split, but the timing's off, so he should still get both of them. Fury is not hitting the way they were. And that speaks to their record on this map. Clearly not comfortable.
Yeah, it's really not a great map for either if you think about their stats throughout the entire split, but man, are 100 Thieves making this look good. Up 6-0, Furia's economy finally broken. That orbital strike isn't gonna feel good either. Dude, they're having their way with Furia's defenses right now.
Yeah, every single round that they're winning, it's just... Sometimes I'm just thinking this is a joke. Like, Furia's not even putting any defense up. And I don't even think this is like a defense versus attack side or anything like that. There's not really any cope you can bring out there.
Surely there's a timeout.
This place is
close
nice,
by.
but
I've already used one though. Yeah, you're right.
This might be one of those situations that you have to start talking to your team here. If you're Carlisle, it feels like he's made a difference in some of the form of these players, but there it is.
There's the second.
It's only been 2 weeks since his return. This is his third appearance on stage with his team. So this is the first time he really has to deal with a stomp like this to start off.
And it's not just the stomp. It's the crowd you have to deal with too.
I'm looking Digizin, his body language too on stage right now, rubbing his eyes. Not exactly happy with the situation, but also just listening intently. But his teammates and his coach has to stay. There's Carlisle. Already up a map, so they have a buffer. But you really cannot get stomped this hard. I think the best thing about this veto for them is that they've able to land on Haven. And they converted that Pearl pick, which I felt like was a little risky, given we hadn't seen 100 Thieves or anything like that. But we know that it was obviously a decision from 100 Thieves to go away from the Ascent, so they converted, and now they're in a situation where this series is still well within their hands, but right now they have to make sure that they don't get boomed mentally.
And that's hard to do when you're down 7-0 without any real way to stop the attack side of 100 Thieves. But they're going to try a little something different here. They've put DG up close by. They have two members just on the other side of the door as well. They've got to pounce for this. There's the fall line. No aggression either way. Now the Trailblazer intended to take some of that space. And once again, there's a trade back in utility.
None of that util from 100 Thieves when they're in, or sorry, from Fury, when they're in an aggressive stance where they want to go forward against them, was used to actually challenge anybody. It just delayed 100 Thieves from actually fighting them. So it's almost counterproductive because it keeps them back rather than traps them while they're forward.
I've got your trail.
Siege is now used by Asuna. Bank stimming up the attack side, but it's a fake. It's a fake. The spike's nowhere near that. And that's going to draw out a lot. They've gotten the Nightfall out from MW. They have rotations coming all the way over to B.
Dude, how often is Cryo just dry walking into A? This time he calls Stellar over with him. And they're able to just walk in, fake that site, and get it for free.
This is taking a little while, though. They do have nanos and things like that to delay the orbital strike, too. And now the fake, what you've intended to do in getting some of that space is gone. Fury are already here.
It just feels like an exchange of utility on both sides. And finally, the first engagement goes in favor of Fury. QCK is going to run all the way around. I'm not sure if Bang heard him.
Cryo was right under Mazine. and he's just gonna fill in and take the space. Also jump spotting in a sense to find one. But Furia finally get on the board.
Finally. I was thinking that we might start having to talk the tune of a absolute blowout. And it still is that case.
Weeds are difficult to kill.
Before that round, Bang had the same amount of kills as all of Furia, by the way.
Yikes, that's bad.
Ultimate. Finally, that will obviously be broken. But it's interesting, both teams are playing a game of footsie. Like with the util, you saw it in A main there, the stun, the breach stun, the neon stun, everything going in, and neither side really willing to go take that extra step to challenge. But finally, when 100 Thieves does get that sight, they're able to delay. You said it took a long time. There's so many different looks on 100 Thieves in terms of the default. Now they're going for a 4 north side. With Stellar swapped back down to the south. Doesn't give them the option to go for that A Halls walk that Cryo's been doing so often.
My ult's not ready. Bring them down.
Prowler is gonna spot someone down in hell. Did he cloudburst? Yeah, so they should know who it is too. And the cutting of the noise introduces doubt into the minds of the defenses. And just like that, it opens up. MW falls. Once again, Stamid. They've got the Rolling Thunder though, and that's real good, but Cryo's ahead of it. He's past it. Cryo and Stellar both have made their way onto the site, but Stellar's the first to fall.
So I had to move his head because of that flash.
DG's on the flank. DG's on the flank. He's behind him. And he's gonna have 4 waiting. The timing is good for 1. It's good for 2. Now Austin is left by himself.
30 seconds left.
Numbers aren't great, but this is winnable. He's gotten into a 1v1. He's stunned, patient, waiting, daring to swing around. And the snap onto DG is a Red Bull clutch.
Asuna, in some moments this season, he seems like a different player to his average. Some moments he just turns on. Or he instinctively is making the right play there, that shorty pull out. Then the patience as well to go for the swing. And you see the reaction from the Furia side there, not happy. They could have converted, but
arguably should have. Either way, they're down another.
It's free for him.
DG's going by himself. He did have the fault line out to help a little bit from Azine, but all the space that the utility was intended to create is already gone, but Cryo's ahead of it. Challenges anyway.
Dude got headshot by the overdrive. I didn't know that could do. It's crazy.
He's looking for more too. Swings around into the face of 3 members from 100 Thieves.
That's such a cool little counter there. 100 Thieves just stack up all 3.
Smoke's down.
Smoke on the turret, but it's just a stinger. So unlucky.
And it's just Khalil too. He doesn't have to know.
Spike planted. Last player standing.
Another round gonna go in favor of 100 Thieves. Barring some miracle out from Azine.
Huh?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what that was. Yeah, no miracle this time around. Bang cleans it up. 100 Thieves gets 9. And you know what's funny, Ball? It was at 7-0 that Fury are on the board, and we go, okay, it's not going to be a blowout. It's not going to be 9-3, 10-2, or anything like that.
I was just saying it's not going to be a 13-0. That's what I was thinking.
Headshot.
This is what I was talking about. Just like all lined up there, and there's no way that Digizin's going to get 3 sprayed down when you need to have constant DPS from that overdrive. Derek, I'm going to say it. I think it's over.
Maybe don't. Maybe don't. Maybe don't. We're going to start a riot in the crowd. 100 Thieves quiet in this one. Very reminiscent on how Cryo has played his way towards halls. This time it's just contact. Finally, a Trailblazer used, and that's going to funnel QCK out. That one way, it's already cleared. That was the defense he had. that he could tuck behind. That was his safety.
The one-way was actually meant for him when he's up in tower, so he literally is getting anti-one-wayed by his own cage there. See, he's actually good. Yeah.
Stellar's in a lot of trouble. How does he still get one?
He got a kill?
3v3. It's still respectable, but the two members of Furia that I thought were going to be able to make the play instantly fall. All right, now I believe. Now I believe.
Now I can say it?
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Now we can say it.
No, that was disrespectful.
10-1 half for 100 Thieves.
And they planted it in every single round.
I mean, when you're executing at this level, even the fact that Stellar, the fact that he even gets one, bro.
He's not only like getting Brim ulted, sees, doesn't hear anything, so he can't really aim based off of his sound. On top of that, the Brim ult is blocking his vision. I mean, we've already seen 100 Thieves just deal with this so easily. This exact play.
Well, that one is good.
Oh, because he's flashed, he doesn't have the time to actually go for those kills.
And even then, Derek playing in a position that he can't get spammed through comfortably, even with this position given away. 100 Thieves now trampling their way towards a Cypher utility that's set up, and towards Khalil, who's playing close by. Burst a little patience on a Cryo. He finally takes the high ground, gets up into heaven, stares down into what's beneath them, and it's all 100 Thieves' bodies.
One enemy remaining.
Bang's gonna have to 1v5 to win this one out. And yeah. Spamming from every single angle. Feeling pressure from every which way. And it's a flawless round for Fury to close out the half.
And they actually prevent the scoreline that 100 Thieves had to deal with against NRG way back. That was an 11-1. There's a little fake comeback in that game. We might see that here.
Possibly. We'll take a look at it one more time as QCK held the fight masterfully. Not a 13-0. Not a 13-1. Maybe a 13-2, as Furia have gotten that far, but once again, a 10-2 half for 100 Thieves. Let's start down to Josh, who's standing by at the telestrator, break down a little something.
So I want to talk basically here about where it all started to go wrong for Furia. So I'm going to bring things back to the bonus round for 100 Thieves and then show you round 5 as well. And to start things out, I want to demonstrate here that even though we're in round 3, MW doesn't buy any Prowlers. I think that that's not acceptable when he has full armor in this situation. And Dijazine also doesn't have his wall, right? So you've got a big issue just to start things out. And if we play things forwards here, you'll see that what's happening is that Dijazine's looking to contest in this early angle down towards Halls. And as he tries to fight this, he's pressured, he backs up, he looks to take this early fight, and MW's going to come to help him. Now here, as you see Cryo controlling this position, Cryo is on this angle. He's dashed early, he's been able to establish this position, and he now controls that. This would be the perfect spot to use a wall to escape, or use a Prowler to get back in, or even to use a stun to get back onto the angle, and instead, they just go for the fight raw, straight up. Dijazine ends up dying, MW goes back to try and contest afterwards, and it's just raw fighting where they're running into the utility. It doesn't end up working out. And you move forwards into round 5. I mean, look at these positions here as well. Doubled up inside Halls in this spot. This is not an area where you're going to be able to survive against the Sky and breach utility. And move things forwards a little bit and skip ahead, you'll see it's the exact same kind of stuff that happens. It's Dijazine trying to fight here. He ends up getting put into an awful spot, still manages to find a kill somehow, but MW is miles away. I mean, if I go to the mini-map at this point, you can see that MW just died in this spot as Dijazine is trying to take his own little fights. It just, their game plan here didn't make sense. The utility that they were using didn't make sense either, and 100 Thieves dismantled them. They're gonna need to pick it up for the next half, because what they showcased here was similar to 100 Thieves on Pearl. They had an idea the map was coming up, but they just didn't have the game plan to play it. We'll send things back to Doug and Bala.
Thank you, Josh. Yeah, I mean, just one of the very few things that led to 100 Thieves' absolute dominance in the first half.
I was looking at the last round and I was like, I feel like I haven't seen Dijazine use his wall at all. So it's nice to point it out there, because those are the type of little things that compound as time goes on, right? That could have been a bonus converted if they had a little bit more tools. those sorts of things. But yeah, no, I mean, you're looking at a 10-2 half that if you have the same ideas, I mean, the same prep gone into it, the same sort of crumbling, there's very, very little chance of bringing it back. There's also no 9-3 blessing, so.
I mean, you even see some of the way that they're playing this differently. Stellar's the only one playing on it. He's anchoring, but he's playing it from a position of safety.
Yeah, usually 100 Thieves goes for a fast sand recontrol behind the smoke while it's up. And then they're able to either challenge halls or go fast through the site to flood, but that's a mistake there from Stellar.
Knowing how aggressive DG is, just continues to go back to what works for him.
Okay, Cryo. I mean, he just went into halls, exactly what I was talking about. Now there's 2 players fighting from drop, but it is planted for them.
Derek and Bang both weak here. Derek's the first to fall. Bang gets it down to a 1v2.
Got a 4K in the last pistol.
54 HP. Time is short. MW.
That's in the smoke! That was almost a complete fumble. Imagine they didn't even really consider that it was in the smoke, too. And they thought he was just off spike. That's the first pistol finally converted from Furia. And honestly, I think if it wasn't for Digizin getting 2 random shots with the frenzy there, after Cryo reclears halls, I don't think they're winning that. If that gets traded even 1-for-1, that's a completely different scenario.
Furia gets a 3, and they've invested into this. They have 3 Phantoms and a Bulldog, a Guardian too. Fully spending their way into this round. And once again, it's quiet and it's contacty. Hitting the door and not seeing much of a reaction from Asuna. He's tucked in with a shorty.
He's gotten pretty much one every time, and
felt like he got robbed one there. Either way, the shorty falls like nothing more than just a little damage on a DG, just a little chip of the HP.
If I'm 100 Thieves here, I'm thinking with the amount of rifles that we've seen and heard, I'm going for a couple kills. Because nobody's really close. I mean, Khalil has 3 orbs, but it's nothing even similar to what Bang had in that first half. I'm going to take a rifle down, force a rebuy. If I can get 2 kills, that's worth it. But instead, they go for the classic meta right now, which is just to die to the spike without any orbs given over.
And just wait and die. Far less damaging.
I like the idea there. Stun them as they're trying to rotate out. Could end up costing somebody their life. Now everybody type question mark.
I'm not getting the message. Leave it to me. I'll rough them up.
Furia get up to 4. They keep, I mean, what, really all of their weapons? If I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, every single one.
Yeah, they didn't lose anything there.
That's 4 rifles and a Guardian.
Now this is the
mini
pivotal,
rifle.
This is the pivotal point that we saw in the first half. Remember, 100 Thieves were in this position. They were able to bonus. They were able to roll their economy to up a 7-0 lead.
Yeah. Look at this though. Cryo's actually gone for a glass cannon. Saved enough there that he has the op with no armor. And this is where he really got going in that game where it felt like Cryo came alive against, I believe it was Crew, way back when.
The Prowler with a latch. They know someone's close. The Trailblazer traded, and my goodness, that was perfect.
How did they get that stun so perfect on the Digizin? He's dashing, moving super fast, and they're still able to target him with Derek's fault line. That's not easy. And Digizin thinks he's going to get 2 kills there because they're stunned up. But instead, destroyed him. They do counter with Bang, and now they don't have the staying power. This execute all of a sudden has some teeth.
It does. Asuna's alone on the site, and he falls.
Oh, they just got a kill through the smoke by Mazin. And a second.
They're finding all of them without really seeing anyone. And this has, again, the writings of a financial snowball.
Is that a 4v5? Yeah, but Digizin died early in that round. It's another 4v5. It's funny because I bet you those stats are just completely wiped out of the out of everything here. Okay, interesting part about this, QCK dies, but they know where Cryo went. Okay, they're not looking for anything.
They're not gonna hunt him.
I mean, they think they're even trying for this. What? They're like set up for post blind still.
They're just real precautious here.
Yeah.
Real careful. Spike's gonna go off. Fury are gonna get to 5. It's now 3 rounds in a row. The only 3 that we've played this half. And the one difference here is that 100 Thieves is gonna keep a couple of weapons, namely that op for Cryo.
Why is that little bear sitting outside of the shade?
He's vibing.
He's in the desert.
Yeah, just want to get a little extra sun.
Oh, timeout. I like this call from 100 Thieves. This is their first timeout, and they have an opportunity right now because of that op to really do something special against Furia where they're not expecting it.
These situations are so tricky too because they can get out of hand very quickly, right? You're up 10-2 at half. All right, you lost the pistol.
Oh, the score
You
difference.
lose the second, yeah.
Yeah.
You should lose the second, and all of a sudden you get bonus. And this is where you run the risk of things getting out of hand.
Oh, yeah.
It happened so quickly in Valorant that I like the call from Mike's as well. Go ahead and call a timeout. Stabilize things as best as you can because of the op in the hands of Cryo, like you were saying.
And I mean, we have seen 100 Thieves specifically fall to some really major comebacks in the past. Not only last year, but even this year too. They're familiar with the little 9-3 curse here and there. Last year, there was a narrative about them, about closing out maps. I haven't really felt that this year, where also I haven't really felt that they've been in situations like that as often, obviously, given a somewhat slow start.
3-4 record for them, and 3 of the 4 losses are against the best that Americas has to offer. But either way, a 5-round lead. Op still in the hands of Cryo. Light armor this time.
Going
and
for
they're
a pick,
pushing
and they're
right
here.
into his op. You're absolutely right. DG has tucked quietly. It's going to be first contact. Oh, I thought for a second, Bang was going to block the sideline.
He did, and he still gets the kill anyways. That was definitely a little weird positioning.
Yeah, it was. Give Cryo a pixel.
Either way, yeah, I mean, right now, 4v5 again for Furia. This time, though, they really don't know what the situation is, and 100 Thieves is going to take some liberties, given the weapon disadvantage that they have.
Speaking of taking liberties, though, QCK is pushed through door, pushed through sand.
The crazy part is Bang already has a smoke on that position, so he gave it up and allowed QCK to do that.
Wise as to where they might be.
Where are these flashes?
Everywhere. And nobody can see anything. A little bit of spam early on is confirmed as Stellar falls.
Great play.
Pressure down in hell. This has another 4v5 written all over it. Ball and numbers back their way. They have slight control. They're going to get the spike down too.
Spike planted.
This is going to be really difficult to convert. I mean, it's just a Sheriff and a Stinger. That's big. But I don't think they're going to do anything off of that.
Yeah, they can't clear the back of A-Main there.
They just don't
They're
have
going
the
for it.
tools.
They're going for it.
Oh my goodness, that was gross.
He's got a ult here.
3v2, and that's just going to buy time. Derek's got to get past it, and he cannot. That should be the cue for Cryo to just save the op.
They do get the ult out, but I also commend Khalil to use that there because of how 100 Thieves was approaching it was the perfect choice. Cryo was always trying to save his op there. He was allowing his 2 sheriffs to go forward, look if you can get anything, and maybe I'll join you. And because of that ult, he has no chance to join them. But they do get it out, and now there's a real, actual, another force going to be able to come in here from 100 Thieves. And you're also seeing a situation where Furia is not really building the economy. So if you want to come back like that to happen, and by the way, we're within 4 now. You need to start building that bank. Thankfully, Khalil has been alive for quite some time. 6.9K for him, MW2, 5K. But everybody else struggling a little bit. Have to point out another 4v5 there.
It's so difficult to really gain traction as a Neon when you're playing around this area of the map, specifically against a breach. And you saw why in the opening moments of that round. You've got a fault line you have to deal with. You have an aftershock you have to deal with. The only way you can really go is forward right into the teeth of the defense.
We will see the classic execute here, though, with the Fast lane coming up.
I'll find you.
The haunt as well. We saw this early in the season. Digizin is just sitting in his fast lane looking for a haunt kill. Instead, all of 100 Thieves is off the site, and look, the camera might actually spot them if he goes up and checks it. And 100 Thieves is actually starting to gamble towards A.
Stellar wise to the fact that there may be one remaining.
Going out.
Meanwhile, Mazine is going to be on this crazy flank. Cryo, Shorty. We haven't had a Shorty kill in a while. We were due for one.
Mazin, who was set up to help Digizin get some more value there, is so far away. Derek converts on the kill too. Spike not planted. And is there a flash? No, not for Mazin. They're stunned though. Kalo's gonna jump up and maybe get two.
Or just continue to hold the line. Yeah, he opts to go patient. And he is surrounded.
Headshot.
First one falls through, but with 10 seconds left and the spike out of reach, you imagine this round will go in favor of 100 Thieves. But not without losing a couple of guns first. They did manage to still keep the op though.
That was such an interesting call from 100 Thieves there. When that fast lane went out from Digizin and he looked for those haunt kills, that looks like it's an execute on the B site. But the players from 100 Thieves who were pushing Arcade, by the way, they decide to continue to push and to go flank drop. That's such a good read from Stellar.
Enemy remaining.
Knowing that it's a possibility of Furia to rotate off and honestly look like the first evidence of them actually preparing for this Neon comp. Because you can't do that sort of pivot if you're playing just the Rays.
Want to go fast again. They use that haunt to try to set up DG so often. He did get tagged, but he takes the high ground. Wall's going to keep him back for now. The persistent prowler that it is as DG goes in and Bang's there to greet. Bang's there to wait. And Austin gets two. Once again, just scraps left for Furia, just two.
Mazin consistently left in these situations too, because he's always setting up his teammates. Always trying to get a stun out, a flash out. His execute util so strong. We got within 4, and then all of a sudden, we're looking at match point for 100 Thieves. How quick it can turn.
Put them in the ground.
And turn right back.
And the crowd once again comes to life. Haven seeming inevitable at this moment. They have so many tools to work with too, man. The orbital strike, or excuse me, the Seekers. They have the rolling thunder from Derek too. They've got a classic crunch setup.
Digizin's gonna use his overdrive at some point in this round. With just the Sheriff, probably ended up dropping something. Reach ult though.
It's gonna hit a couple.
Is there follow-up ult? No, but they're pushing him into cryo. It's so good.
He didn't take any space too. He was perched up on high.
Oh, there.
And now he's going.
Somebody break that.
Yeah, somebody help him through. Stellar getting two. QCK once again out of the play.
Game, set, blouses.
Cage trigger.
Then Ops just waiting for him. He'd have to 1v3 to win this round, and with 9 bullets left, he got
Who forgets?
What?
Always good high stakes.
I've been trying so hard for so many massacres this game.
You got yours there. Not done yet. We'll play a little longer.
Spike down, attacker spike.
That just felt like a formality, bro.
Yeah, it did. That pitch was so nice. I don't even know how Cryo got set up early in Tree there, because we were so focused on the A main push coming out. I mean, actually, we're gonna get a moment after that 1v3, a timeout called from 100 Thieves, actually. Mike not happy with how the strat was being called. At the beginning of this round, we went down to 12 seconds in freeze time, and he called it. Maybe the comms as well. Could have even been Stellar calling too, because people were not so clear on exactly what to do.
Yep.
That's usually what happens when it's those late round calls, or late freeze time calls, I should say.
See the head coach of 100 Thieves on your screen. Sitting patiently, trying to figure out how they want to close this map out. This also feels like another, it's kind of like the timeout situation conversation we were having previously, where it's like, you don't want this to snowball out of control. Make sure you have your plan. Make sure you get out of this and make sure you get towards Haven.
And Haven is actually a tough call here.
It's a good map for both.
It's a great map. Specifically for Furia, they won it against NRG in overtime last week. And 100 Thieves too, I mean, it's been pretty good. Took it over Leviathan in that upset win that they had earlier in the season. And there it is, Cryo again. Every time you see Digison try to punish with the speed that he has, just feels like the Jet is better.
And they're going to try to flood their way out of this. Look at them. They have everyone stacked up off of the flash.
Oh, there's a Molly. They're seized in the Molly.
Stellar does not care. Stellar does not care. That's the map. 13-7 in favor of 100 Thieves. And we're going the distance.
It's so impressive how 100 Thieves, in so many situations, they could lose that first map. They could even look at situations that are super dire. And then they can come out, win map 2, and just look smiles all around.
They really do. It just feels like they really do take it a map at a time.
Yeah.
Right, which is just such a common phrase, really across all of sports, but you see it personified on their faces.
What sport has maps?
Right. Fair. Fair.
Well, I mean, Furia, especially that first half, that's not something that can happen. When this map is in their pool, this map is in their rotation, this is the third time they're playing it, and there's situations that just felt like they had no real answer. It feels like they didn't really have the prep against 100 Thieves when the 100 Thieves has played it so many times. So we're going to Haven as the last map.
Again, a map that is good for both. Haven on the other side of this break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone, to VCT Americas. 100 Thieves pulls off the win on Fracture in dominating fashion, really sending Furia reeling going into map number 3, which will be on Haven. Of course, Golden Boy here to break it down alongside Sideshow, as well as Benita. What you laughing at?
Get those bananas, 100
Get those bananas.
Get that potassium in you.
That's right. You know, turn it into a shake, if you will. I don't care. I don't know. Get some creatine in there. We're just adding things. This is a nasty shake. Anyway, though, let's see what we have from that game, because really, you know, Josh, I think the story of that match really was just 100 Thieves, utter domination. The game plan was sound on Fracture.
Yeah, and for Furia, it's a map that they haven't got a win on, and they don't look like they're getting one anytime soon. Yeah. It's just towards the bottom of their pool, and both teams have done a good job, to be honest, in the map, Vito, of attacking the opponent's weaknesses. You just saw so many situations where Furia, it felt to me like they just ran out of ideas and started taking fights.
Yeah, they were just taking fights with full utility, one by one, because, like you said, I feel like they also just ran out of ideas.
Which isn't necessarily a huge problem for them in the long term. You know, it shouldn't make you feel any worse about them heading towards playoffs and that kind of thing. Almost every team has got one map that looks bad in their pool, right? We were talking about that earlier with 100 Thieves, the fact that they permaban
Ascent.
Yes, the Pearl and Ascent, the whole Pearl and Ascent conversation that we were having earlier on. So, you know, these teams have these kind of situations, but it set us up for a really one-sided map 1 and map 2, where hopefully map 3 is just an absolute banger to end it.
Yeah, well, I'm actually really glad you brought up map 3, because we're going to be going to Haven for map number 3, and this is do or die. I cannot stress this enough, people. 100 Thieves, if they win this game, they're not in control of their own destiny, but it becomes a lot more like simpler.
So much easier.
For 100 Thieves to make playoffs, whereas for Furia, you literally need to win this game, and that's it.
So I want to show you here a pistol round based on what Furia were doing last time. So look at this Killjoy setup over here, and the fact that how effective it was at just melting it early on at the beginning. And Furia's pistol rounds have been hyper effective overall in Americas. They are the second best team that we've got in Americas for winning the pistol rounds, and this has not shown today. Now, that hasn't been a strength for them. They've only won a single pistol round, and it was the one in the second half of Fracture. And that has got to shift. Heading towards Haven, they've got a composition that is going to be... Actually, both of these teams have weird compositions that they run. The Viper Harbor is going to be playing against a Gecko comp, probably. So that's already bonkers. But I think Furia... that is normally where they start out so strong. They win pistol, they have a chance at the bonus, and they put the teams on the back foot early.
Yeah.
And 100 Thieves have been able to counter that, and I think that's going to be incredibly important moving forwards into Haven.
Well, you know, let's talk about the pistols, though, right? Because, Benita, you know, in your experience, right, having to, you know, make these pistol rounds count, how important is this going to be for Furia going into this match?
It's super important. You know, max round, there's only 12 rounds in the half, and the pistol will give you possibly the first 2 and then the third one, and then you're gaining momentum. It's just super, super important.
What I'm looking for as well, you saw in that clip that I just talked about, Digizine walk down mid on their defense side. He's going to be starting on defense here, and they had a Killjoy like death setup on A.
Yeah.
Now they can rotate that wherever they like based on where they think 100 Thieves are going to hit, but I think that general idea has been the way that Furia like to play. The Killjoy like completely bombards an area, and they have a push on a different area of the map. And I'm interested to see whether 100 Thieves decide to try and catch Digizine and punish him, or whether they just send the Gecko in to die. Well, you know, send little bro in there.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because one thing that I am picking up a lot from this series is Digizine's willingness to just stand out in the open, Benita, and just try and take a fight.
Yeah.
Do you think that at this point, like, 100 Thieves have to be wise to this? Because it feels like they're getting the reads on him.
I think they like kind of have a read on his play style, but it's also something when you're in a LAN environment, you just kind of underestimate a little bit. You kind of think in the back of your head, oh, he's probably not holding this like aggro.
Surely he's not.
But there he is, yeah.
I'd also like to point out that if 100 Thieves do go for their Gecko comp, they run the Gecko instead of a breach, and that means there's no flashes. well, you know, not the same amount of flashes, and no stun, no fault line to try and control those angles and stop Dejacine from getting in there. So I think that's a big tool missing.
Well, we got Agent Select, and let's see if 100 Thieves decide to bust out this Gecko. You saw Asuna use it there. It would be bold to have to do that for the game that you really need here, Josh.
That's absolutely true, but it's gotten value from them in the past. They've won with this composition before, so I don't see any reason why they would change it. And the same is true for Furia. I think Furia have gotten even better wins recently. Both of these teams have beaten top teams. 100 Thieves beat Leviathan, Furia beat NRG, but to me, NRG are the kings on Haven. If you can take down Finesse, the king of Haven, I put so much respect on that.
100%.
Yeah, it's going to be quite fascinating to see how all this plays out. But we've got ourselves a third map here, and it's a win will clinch for Furia. Of course, 100 Thieves need to keep the drive alive. Let's go ahead and send it back over to Doug and Bala.
Thank you so much. Yeah, a map that is very good for both, right? Statistically, they've shown proficiency in it, and this is less so for Furia, but as the desk was saying, this is a must-win for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, this is absolutely a must-win. They definitely need to even go for both wins to get a playoff berth. So we're looking right now to start out the final map here, Furia 100 Thieves. And Furia is starting on the defense with this. Every single map so far, 100 Thieves has started attack side. Furia, though, with the best comp to start it on and the final map of the series. Let's get this started.
You already see this is so vintage. What we saw at Mazine the last time they played Haven. He's going to cascade right up to mid, and that's going to be what they play off of. He can also high tide towards A. So keep an eye out on that. There's a cascade right off the bat, a deep flash, and it seems like he might try to re-explore.
And one thing I would like to see is that drone be used a little later against this comp. This comp has a lot of footage out for Furia already again, so the anti-strats must be prepped here.
Look at Cryo. What a loony, bro. That's all for the goop. So well done. But Mazine playing around his own utility, getting one back.
It's crazy that he's able to get out of the smoke, cascade to block the players from default, and still get out. Now they're going for the double flank. Stellar's util was down because he's so far on site.
Just QCK with the molly. I believe that's the only thing in play here. Now that dart just gone back up.
That should give him a cue that there's definitely something on the flank.
It's the frenzy meta right now. Start to see why. Two members of 100 Thieves are weak, though. They've just gotten worse. It's way too much for DG to deal with, though. Another pistol in favor of 100 Thieves.
The fact that 100 Thieves is converting so many pistols against Furia, who were insanely good up to this point in pistol round wins. Actually, they were the second best in the league. And all of a sudden, there's down only been 1-1. That's 4 for 100 Thieves. And that's ridiculous from Derek, too. Also, shutting down immediately that defensive side pistol hold from Furia that has been so good for them in the past is super impressive. If they could already convert up to 2 rounds, you're looking at only needing 2 gun rounds later on in this half to make it even. The attack side from Furia with this comp has been so rough. It shouldn't be that rough with the double wall, but it is.
Speaking of the double wall, there's a different one out from QCK, who's now scaled all the way into their spawn.
And that was what I was talking about that drone. It could clear the pockets. Oh my goodness. Timing. A little unlucky there for banging Derek, but either way, the alarm bot to cover. Meanwhile, Stellar's up in mid, by the way. And we don't have those 4 rifles.
I mean, what is this round?
Screen down.
He's gotten all the way Link.
Stellar's up in mid, QCK is in spawn. Undetected by the turret.
Turret's down at this point.
Start to see some of that spam. QCK, he's gonna get a lot here.
It's only a frenzy though. Not only is it only a frenzy, but he doesn't get the kill either. I was thinking no weapon picked up from that, so it's not the biggest deal, but now it is. Now we're gonna see these guys die to the spike.
I heard that. Derek,
only a frenzy.
Yeah, just that frenzy that you were talking about earlier. Cryo has, you know, we talked about him a fair bit on map 1. He quietly put together an excellent map 2. He's just continuing to farm map 3.
So far this series is plus 18.
That's what you want. That's what you want out of Cryo.
Very good. And it's hilarious that Furia saved down in sewers there. They really had no other place. Because 100 Thieves actually hunted them there. And also, those Cryo kills, I'm betting he was like, what? There's another guy behind that guy? No op for Digis in yet. And this is where things start to get very dangerous, but I've really liked the approach so far from 100 Thieves. Especially the way that Bang is using his paranoias. Primed with Cryo as well, threatening to dash. Especially on that pistol, was so disgusting.
You mentioned no off for DG. No kills either, but they're going to try to set him up for one here. Off of the Cascade, fills into the space.
The way that Mazin is able to play in basically middle of the map. To use his high tides to cover everything. And QCK as well. So much coverage with the Viper Wall on A and also his orb in the middle of sight there. He has a couple of different setups that can completely lock down multiple sections of the map at the same time.
And then you have the Killjoy utility. Once you manage to navigate past both suffocating walls that are on the defensive side, you still have to deal with that too. So.
And by the time 100 Thieves actually goes for a hit here, Mazin's high tide is going to be back up at about 48 seconds. It's back up now.
Has a Cascade too.
Dart in though.
There's the wall. DG. Believe he got hit by that paranoia. MW's playing side by himself. Mazin has shown up. Mazin has helped. And that's another kill. I thought DG had him.
We're just running out the smokes.
It's just Bang. He's got a Bulldog. He's healthy too. And it's landed for him. That Cove is going to force the spam out, but he's patient in this, and QCK hits him from the side. He had no idea.
I'm shocked at how Furia on that A retake is just running out the smokes. Obviously the players on the site who were holding MW and DG did a pretty good job. But not the completed, and QCK just runs out while that high tide's still up. I guess assuming that there's nothing to be followed up for 100 Thieves out of that. I also have to ask, how did that flash from Bang not get MW on the site? It felt like it went under his feet. So not converting the bonus. Still though, I mean, 100 Thieves only needs a few more to make this a good half. And we've seen some very strong attack sides from 100 Thieves on this map. Both players shot there, so they knew Digizin was stuck in that position. They might have ended up going for a trap to get the dash out in the first place. Look at this high tide. I mean, these early ones are really nice too, improving from Mazin, allowing there to be a threat of them getting back into cinder blocks there. And also re-allowing Digizin to walk down sewers here too. It's very, very nice.
And QCK has worked his way down C.
How has he gotten there?
Again. They can play around this too. They have such a good setup.
Wingman plant going down right now. And Cryo falls first in the round. Oh, they both saw each other there, surely, right?
I don't know. DG saw him that time. DG's teeing off now.
Thrash is ready.
That was DG going for a lot. And MW's timing is quite nice.
They made a little gulag for MW to fight Asuna there. 2 rounds in a row for Furia, and that was a gun round. I'm wondering their Cryo walking into being just getting completely sprayed down by Khalil. He's trying to take a lot of space there, where Furia looks like they're giving it to him, but then also the challenge.
What's the approach here? MW's Seeker's online, Asuna's an ult too.
Digis in a really risky round to go for glass cannon up.
Yeah.
With the Thrash online and also a light buy coming out for, or actually they're forcing full, but a couple of stingers too. That's one where there's gonna be movement on the side of 100 Thieves.
They're just disrespecting the Cascade, which is intended to set up what would be the Jet in that situation. But they push right past it, they thrash their way onto site, they take everything, and Khalil takes down Cryo. Cooped up, couldn't see a thing. Stellar now trying to push his way towards. Asuna got one with the mosh pit, man. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw a mosh pit kill by itself.
I mean, every team has abandoned the Gecko in most cases. But yeah, that right there is them looking to flood. They popped the Seekers before they even got on the site, given the fact that the Thrash was used by Asuna. And the interesting thing too, he didn't re-pick it up because he was getting orbs. Something that can happen is if you pick the Thrash back up, it cancels all your orbs that you collect. So back up to 3-2.
Back up to 3-2. Jizin keeping that up. No challenge, no real threat of losing it this time around.
There's some things here that Furia have to be. I mean, I would expect a timeout after this because losing 3 already this early in the half on this defensive side is absolutely not what you want to do. And Digizin did save that op, so everybody basically was saving weapons from the prior. Look, he's just running into it. He realized
player standing
as he went in that smoke that it was mosh pitted, and he didn't have time to back out while he realized. That's tough.
Surprise. Light armor for DG this time around. It looks like he's going to try to peek short. No Cascade to set him up either. In fact, this time the Cascade's going to be going mid. And he's just going to peek it by himself. No way he plucks him out of the sky like that.
Fang was trying to go for a fake TP, but instead they start to pounce here on B.
They're going pasty here off of that Hunter Fury. Cry was able to get one. Derek does too.
Derek got a player peeking outside a garage, and again a wingman plant. And there's no flank presence this time. That was how Furia retook B in the last successful attempt. 100 Thieves have gotten the plant down pretty much every single round again. Similar to Fracture. And this time they're winning on these post plants.
Asuna has found the timing. He has found the timing. He has found the kill. Is DG even going to get away?
Oh, look at Asuna. He's actually going into spawn from C-Link, something that Digizin might not expect, and he hasn't crossed yet. There might be a... Oh my goodness, this battle. He's going to die here.
Standing ahead. Very well may. DG's holding that angle. Low, that's...
And then fall into Derek. Or he could take a wide swing where you don't expect it, and I think Digizin expecting both those options. The fact that they're able to recover some of these rounds is so nice. I love this. Hunter's Fury pushed while Cryo is taking that B site. It allows him to take that fight even further. And there's the timeout. I was really hoping that was last round from Furia.
A round off schedule, maybe.
Now they're on a light buy, and they've already gone below my expectations on this defensive side.
I think one of the things that you saw there that was so difficult to deal with is, yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves was able to apply pressure into Garage to help on the flank from Asuna that we saw, but also Furia had no controllers alive in attempting to make that retake happen, and that's just so difficult to do, right? When you aren't able to deny vision from Garage or from window or from anything like that, it becomes so much more complicated of a formula to solve.
It's 4v5 man down situation team in the league. But 100 Thieves have completely swapped that. It's 5-1 for first kills for Furia this game, and 100 Thieves is in the lead.
Light buy that you mentioned, 2 Bulldogs from Azine and QCK, a Stinger from MW. You imagine DG is going to use his ult.
Honestly, I'm looking at this round and thinking this is a round where it doesn't look good for Furia, but it feels like they must win.
Away.
100 Thieves is rolling right now. And if they can't stop them soon, they're going to have to pull together a massive streak at the end of this half to even keep this competitive.
Right. Both blades online here. Both jets waiting for the moment to strike. Concealed right now as Cryo decides to go exploratory. Shock dart intended to clear out some of the Pilgrim
Get spotted by the shark.
Be there. You're a sitting duck. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
They just didn't consider the shark there. They didn't consider the thrash. Austin's not able to recover it, and they're running into Mazin though. He didn't check it.
All good though.
It's crazy that Cryo's like already looking at him there.
Yeah. Very well handled. And another situation where 100 Thieves.
The wingman plant.
Buddy,
Yeah.
it's over.
A couple of rounds go behind you, but they were 5-1 in these opening duels.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves just continue to get on site and play really good against the flood attempts that Fury has gone for so far. Finally, though, there's those ults. So the situation has changed slightly here in round 8. They're going to get on the site. They're going to get a plant down, but they're actually working the map too, which is so good. Cryo's already in a position to go fight against. It's that lockdown to go fight ahead of the reckoning while they end up flooding. They can't fight back.
So well played.
Where's that ult going? It's a fake ult. He's just going down C long. And they're worried about there's somebody being in spawn right now.
It's just so same Viper wall that we've seen in the last couple of rounds. No early utility from Azine this time. Choosing to hang on to all of it.
He just wants to get out before that util is used on that position.
He's fought
gun
barrel. Yep. Got the dash ready to go. Oh no, he hit into the wall. Somehow stays alive.
MW can heal him up, so not the end of the world, but that definitely could have costed him his life.
Certainly cost him all the armor he had.
MW alone on site.
He was flashed. Spots 2 now. Dancing around, trying to isolate the fights. There's still pressure coming in from that area of the map, and MW gets them both. Austin on the train, and the shorty for 3! 1v2 left, 54 HP. Had a shot at it, but Khalil cleans him up.
What are those peaks from Khalil, too? There's so many times I'm seeing him wide swing and then back right into the wall, essentially, and still get the spam down. He's abusing the movement so well. And we are starting to recover here from Furia now. And they didn't even need to use that lockdown. Credit to MW for staying alive so long in that situation.
Yeah. Understanding where the pressure was coming from, still able to isolate, what, two kills from that little cubby, from that pocket. Very well done. And with Furia winning the last 2 rounds, 100 Thieves call a timeout. Still hanging on to a lead, a 1-round lead, but a lead at that.
mean, you could have seen that round go completely differently if Digizen dies there, do that missed dash. But I do think there, 100 Thieves, they go for that same A execute, and it's still like nothing missed or anything like that. The execute was fine. But what Furia were able to do is spread out and stop and, funnel the players to be timed differently, right? MW down short, they haven't cleared that all the way. That mosh pit that we saw get value in that smoke prior basically goes off with no stopping power at all. Now that the Furia players are trying to come out of spawn, we actually had QCK go up Evan instead. So they're just avoiding the set util that 100 Thieves are using.
They're going to have a little bit more to avoid here as Asuna has the Thrash online. Stellar with the lockdown too. And the op for DG.
Pit from QCK.
He hasn't played up here yet. Now, mind you, there hasn't been a ton of mid exploration from 100 Thieves, primarily through window, but
I'm thinking there's mid exploration coming from Furia right now.
Yeah.
With MW's position, Cascade down short. It's misdirection for this push down.
they drop the turret, they hear the op, and Cryo swings at just the right time, but MW's ready for it. QCK with another.
Oh, and they got the paranoia out too.
That was gorgeous by Furia.
Asuna with the spike tried to go for a hero play there for a second, but thinks better of it. I love that QCK just repositions, and he makes fake footsteps into back plat. Gets followed up on though, as he gets all the way off site. Furia and Mazin calling him off the IGL. Asuna's finding a gap with that though, but he has the spike.
Yes, yeah, you're absolutely
right. I think he might send the wingman back and fight forward.
Yeah, but he's running out of time to do it if that's what he wants to do. He's getting real exploratory and real bold on this, and there you see why.
Wow.
That spike, Wings. You should run.
Lockdown in garage too. The amount of space this is buying right now. It's crazy good. And remember, this is keeping Khalil off of using that lockdown on themselves.
So far back. They're still just now halfway across the map.
Second shark out.
But it doesn't go towards DG's way.
Oh!
That was gross. He was not looking that way.
This is a flood through garage.
Just two left on the side of 100 Thieves, and that's just one now. Asuna goofing one. Oh my gosh! Disaster averted. This place might have, come crumbling down if he had hit that.
That was so close to being insane from Asuna, and for him to also have basically every single major impact in that round outside of Stellar's ult, which is, just an ability used. And remember, that was a round where they actually lost two right off rip because MW walked down middle. Carlisle's heart.
Don't worry, we were all stressed out too.
I love when the coaches start talking when it's not a timeout after the round because they're not talking to their teammates. They're talking to the assistant coaches backstage.
Viper's pitting garage.
Ooh.
How does he still get the one? That's insane. You do everything right there and it doesn't matter.
My dude's inside the middle of the molly.
It's the whole point of that
thing. It's the lockdown.
I wonder if that's going to force them to... No, they've committed to the plant.
They've committed to the site. They have to continue pushing.
And Asuna just gets up a little bit too far.
They broke the lockdown. Cryo's running back into it, but there's too much chaos.
Yeah, way too much.
And again, the Khalil sidestep. Fury have recovered this half. This looked like 100 Thieves could have run away with it. And again, this is, to me, a defensive-sided comp. The game against NRG was not so defensive-sided, but I think that's because it's finesse on that side.
Right. It was still 6-6 at halftime, yeah.
And Furia still ended up winning that game on the attack. We've seen some rough attack sides from Furia on this map, but also against some of the best Haven teams in the world. I'm talking Fnatic. I'm talking NRG. They even had a good attack side.
Right here.
Last round of the half, and a heavy lean towards C, a heavy lean towards DG, who has the op here. Gonna get tagged instantly. He does have a 100 Shuri, but chooses not to use it here.
It's the jet. You can't ult the jet.
Yeah. And exercising futility is what that is. Still dancing around, trying to find a sight line.
Okay. That was the attack side smoking themselves off right there. So they are looking to threaten a C-pop, but they're not intending on actually executing on that idea.
No,
simply to get the orb.
Yep, and to get Asuna's ult online, you're right.
And look at MW. He just went through that smoke. So he has recognized the fact, and that's pulled Digison all the way back towards A. They're walking into a stack.
Monster on the loose.
There's 100 Fury too. DG trying to get up top. He's still holding the line. But there's just a little bit too much chaos. Derek finding one with the ult. Cryo finding another. Now they push their way up. Khalil keeping him back with 2 massive kills. And now it's MW on the other side of things, and he's heard, he's spotted, and he's dropped.
Switching sides.
A 6-6 half. Surely we're going to take a look at the end of that round one more time. Asuna had his way with what Furia were throwing in there.
Yeah, I mean, he's been so good. I mean, thinking back to that almost clutch, too. Look at the amount of mollies on this site right now. Khalil's just running through his own mollies, by the way. And that was one of the first times that you had that Killjoy set up on that site.
Before we get to the second half, let's hear from Furia's coach Carlau and what his mindset is coming into the final weeks of the split.
Então, os próximos jogos pra gente são super importantes, né? Porque são partidas de playoffs, basicamente, e tudo depende só da gente. Então, quando depende só da gente, é muito mais fácil. Então, é a gente ir conseguir fazer um bom trabalho, se preparar bastante pra gente tanto fazer bons jogos, quanto a gente se preparar bem pra gente ir pros playoffs, uma equipe cada vez mais compacta e cada vez melhor, que é isso que a gente espera. Então, é usar toda essa reta final aí pra preparação e focar apenas isso e não em resultado. Focar em a gente ser uma melhor equipe.
Well, it's interesting to get to listen to Carlisle talk, which, by the way, is so nice to have him on site finally, getting past visa issues, joining us here in LA. But it's interesting to hear him talk about a couple of ways that he's viewing the end of the season, because he considers them all like playoff matches where he has to keep control in his team's hands, but he's also considering this last lap, as he said, as a way to refine things and better the team and prepare for what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he came late, he has to be able to instill that sense from Furia. They're definitely a team who's looking to make a run towards Tokyo. Definitely a team who has that opportunity. We're sending 3 teams out of the Americas League, and they still haven't even guaranteed playoffs. That's why it is kind of like a playoff or a match for him. They have to win 1 out of the next 2. Hoping to have done it here in week 7. And 100 Thieves, we're in already. Must-win scenarios for them. They need both wins to stay alive in these last 2 weeks.
With the crowd behind them, they find themselves just a couple of rounds away from checking off the first box, getting past Furia, and then being able to turn their attention towards what next week has to hold. But they're not quite done yet. They've got to be able to close this out. Again, on a side where Furia have looked spotty, but they did take down NRG on this half just last week.
You also have to think about 100 Thieves in the sense of the entire season. I mentioned how they needed a win out of the basically top 4 teams in the league in all the last 4 matches that they played. And here, they're looking to do just that against Furia. They've just been consistently improving. This is definitely another notch up for me so far in this series. But can they actually peak at the right time? Can they peak in time? Not only to qualify for playoffs, but make a run at a top 3 slot and berth to our first international event since Brazil.
It's got to start here. DG's already made his way up towards site, and he's by himself. And literally almost everyone except for Stellar is on C trying to deal with DG.
But the thing is, there's still the Killjoy util here. They know the flank is popped now, or the fake is popped. And that spike down long. There's so much time now, just by Stellar alone. And there's a triple flank. That turret just got pulled back. They don't know this is coming.
Well, the one benefit is maybe in the hands of MW, who's gotten a little bit further up.
He has info that there's no steps, no footsteps being made in spawn, which might end up getting them the info that they're playing long.
Can't use that yet.
While covering off Heaven, Khalil still with the sight line to play around, dropping his utility. Clears out. Dizzy, the swing out, and even in the face of the alarm bot, even in the face of the vulnerability, Asuna gets 2, and that's 5 out of 6 pistols for 100
Thieves. Environment here for the 100 Thieves fans is awesome. And they are just converting every single one of those super important rounds. Furia have to dig deep. It isn't that stomp that we saw in Fracture, but it is definitely not the same Furia that we saw in these last two maps that we saw last week against NRG. Felt like last week they stepped up it in high gear. Dijazin was a monster. He was a beast on Pearl, but it's definitely been a lot slower since he had to play that Neon. Furia plays such a drastically different style on so many maps. We talk a lot about styles for certain teams. Furia's gone for double duelist, they've gone for heavy control, they've gone for double wall, Viper Harbor.
Bang goes for a double kill on DG and Khalil. Now the 3 pistols that remain for Furia are going to go towards B, with very little to go in front of them.
Enemy down.
Derek just looking to farm up the last couple, and he does. A flawless round for 100 Thieves as they get one step closer.
Here's where the real second half begins. Preventing things like ecos, though, so key. Having clean anti-ecos, so key to keep Furia and smother them out of this game. Looks like we're heading towards a fast C hit right now. 5 players from Furia grouped up down C long, and there's Asuna and there's Bang to receive. Wall out late. Cascade to get him all the way up. Flash out.
DG's going in the cloudburst. Backside is cleared. They've done everything well except for being able to clear Bang, and he's rewarded for his persistence.
Asuna stays though, so it's a trade.
It's a trade, and that's it. Gecko utility gone. You're right. You still have some utility from Derek. You still have some from Bang, but
Shock. QCK's really low. He's gone though. Up towards Log, and they're getting a full heal right now.
this is going to be really difficult to funnel your way out of, but Stellar doesn't seem to care. Mazine attempting to hold the line with 2 of his own, and it falls down to 1. Falls down to Khalil.
Can he get him before he crosses?
There's a gap. They try to swing at the exact same time. Bang swinging back into the angle, back into the fight.
He's been a hero for them so many times before.
He's closed the gap. He's so far up. Fake teleport, still holding this angle, and Khalil feeling the pressure. Bank's got to go fast. Time's running low, and Khalil takes care of him. The Red Bull clutch for Furia.
I think Bang might have thought he had a shorty there. Thought it might have recreated that Leviathan clutch, because I saw him pull out his classic and close the distance after he did get some damage done. Fury insta anti-bonus conversion. Even though I think Hunter Thieves did a pretty good job here at giving Bang some space in that smoke, not letting himself fall, and then getting a kill and still able to fall out. I think Asuna overextending there to help him out definitely hurts. Because you can tell the call was to get off site.
Cryo with the op this round.
And look at this threat that Fury is doing, the conditioning cascade all the way up C long. A flash also added into that.
Yeah, along with the Viper wall too.
Makes it look like a C hit right off rip, but Bang has cleared that out, and he's walking all the way down. What a pick. It's so fast from Furia. What a shift.
Now look, Cryo, yeah, Cryo's up. He went into the Reckoning, danced around the Wisps, and still gets the kill. A little damage, a little info gathered. Is that gonna hit?
Well, yeah, it is on MW. Yep. MW had to get off.
And that's just gonna buy more time for 100 Thieves to tee off on what Furia have. MW still trying to get the spike down. He's able to take care of one. A deep flash, but a 1v3 and 6 HP. 4 bullets, 2 in the op in the hands of, well, the op no longer in the hands of Cryo.
He can get off now if he wants to.
Where does he go with 35 seconds left? He's got to make a choice, and he's got to do it quickly. Asuna cleans him up. 100 Thieves get to 9.
This insistence on that seawall, though, could end up costing Furia. Because now, if they don't put that down, all of a sudden, 100 Thieves can make so many inferences off of that information. What a pick from Mazin.
Oh,
Getting down on the second stair there.
That is gross. You're right.
And MW, unfortunately, couldn't really peek that angle because that wall is so spammable and he was 4 HP. That's a reset round for Furia, too. They won the anti-bonus, but again, wasn't clean. Remember, only one player stayed alive on that, so they had to full buy back up. So 100 Thieves looking at 10 right now.
Again, full house here at the Riot Games Arena. And again, plenty of happy fans too as 100 Thieves find themselves up 2 rounds. Just a couple of rounds away from taking the series against Furia. And Furia on the other side of this timeout. Take a look at economy. Yeah, it's not great.
It's extremely rough, given that reset. You need to find something like they found on Pearl, where you're able to crack and get a thrifty round win. Looks like QCK is gonna throw that seawall again, and the conditioning is okay with this wall, especially with the harbor. You can do so much, but oftentimes when you go for double controller, you get that wall down short. Relying on this over and over, and there's 4 frenzies and a sheriff out here. The pace does not stop.
It's a shallower wall this time. That paranoia gonna hit a couple. Asuna, is he going aggressive? Yeah, he is. With the shorty. Oh dear. They've gotten a little bit more than he wanted.
Well, Derek's found a cap here in the high tide.
36 HP and he gets them both. It's just Mazin now.
Hello? Here at Stellar's footsteps. And opted to prioritize that instead. Close one. Definitely a close one. But 100 Thieves does get to 10. We expected that. And the pace does not stop. This was something I was saying in the middle of that round. Furia has not really gone for a slow round so far. It's either fast towards B or fast towards C. And they really haven't explored even A. Outside of that one round where you had that insane flank come in from 3 players of 100 Thieves. I think that was back on the pistol even.
Bot coming back, out of charges.
Same Viper wall going up from QCK. But this time Cryo's ahead of it. And he still has the op.
Revealing area. High tide instantly for short. Thrash coming up short with the paranoia. It's gonna get one, but is there a follow-up?
That Trailblazer was so good to provide cover.
Cryo just got a kill on long too. QCK is gone. And somehow, some way, 100 Thieves have just hung on to short.
DG managed to preserve his life.
Oh no!
Asuna falling. They currently don't have the spike in hand, and Cryo's just established control mid. Turn to provide some cover. Derek falling as well.
Thanks ulting out. Where is he going? Onto B. Oh, and he just canceled. Realizing how dangerous his position was. Given that we just had Khalil in mid, fighting against Cryo.
I mean, what a chaotic opening to the round. But Furia settled.
Out of healing.
And on the other side of the chaos, they emerge with the numbers advantage and the spike in hand.
And importantly, too, Cryo settles on C side, rather than actually leaving his initial position. Stellar with no util to actually challenge. He has a nanoswarm. He might be able to get some damage done on the spike, but I think he wants to save that for later on. That's an interesting spam, trying to actually challenge Digizin, who updrafted on that long box.
Just forced to sit back and wait. I don't know that Stellar even really wants to make a play here. You see Cryo and Bang are both playing real far back.
Yeah.
Stellar may be looking for an exit, but yeah, they're cutting their losses.
Recalling my bot.
That entire idea from Furia, I was surprised it didn't find more value. The fact that they throw that high tide to control short. And he gets countered because Asuna goes for that Gecko ult. And there's the paranoia too. So they get a detain down, and all of a sudden there's nobody able to run down short with the Trailblazer that MW throws out. Despite that, 100 Thieves still lose 2 in that instance. Even though Asuna had the chance to get out, he gets spammed through the smoke. And then also you had this long peak that gets destroyed by, I think it was Mazin who made that shot.
Yeah, I believe you're right. this goes back to something you were saying all the way back in map 1, Ball, and it's how Furia seem to thrive and emerge victorious and comfortable in those chaotic situations. They just scrap so well.
Timeout from 100 Thieves. Last timeout for either side. So final chances for the coaches to get their say in this game. Outside if we go to OT. That was Mazin twice. Derek wide swinging there is definitely ill-advised. But he's just trying to get info before his dart comes back up. And we are in territory now where 100 Thieves, not only are we within 2, but their economy is starting to get low. That bank that they were building up after winning that pistol and then winning the round, the 4th round in this half, starting to go away. But they are opting for light armor as a strategy overall. So they have plenty of staying power in comparison to the Furia side.
I think going back to even the previous map, this is now, I believe, every single timeout, if I'm not mistaken, in these last 2 maps that's been called by 100 Thieves has been called while they're in the lead.
Yeah.
They're ahead of things, and I think that's a bit of a testament to how Mike's wants to play this situation out. Hang on to the lead, control the chaos, keep the team as settled as possible, and make sure you're closing this out.
Yeah, these last 2 maps. 100 Thieves has been in control the entire time. Such a shift from that first one. I was expecting here Furia to start shifting things up with their default util. Perfect opportunity to do it. Either way, actually, light armor purchased for a lot of these Furia members, sticking with it, and Cryo misses the shot for what feels like the first time on those early picks. They're going to try to punish with a reckoning.
Gonna scale back, but the paranoia from Bang is great.
He's TPing in the open. Hello.
Oh gosh.
He gets around the corner and makes it anyways.
How does he stay alive through
this
that?
wall's falling soon.
Can they capitalize on Cryo's early miss? No. Choosing to use the blades. Taking a little bit of damage here. It was shorty against shorty. Asuna playing from backside, finding one, spamming into the smoke, looking for a second.
Player standing.
But he falls, and it's now just Derek who's rotating back towards C, and he's late.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh, 8 HP.
And MW could have died from that one. He's actually going for a fast flank though.
Derek has a lot of utility, but he's caught reloading. You called the fast flank, and it pays off for Furia.
This is insane.
Unreal.
Another 4v5 for Furia, which is hilarious because in this game, that script has shifted. It's been 100 Thieves who's been really good in these situations. These moments we've seen a lot of times for Furia slowing down in towards the tail end of the games and taking over. Multiple players on this team capable of that. And look at the economy. It's a force out of 100 Thieves. You just got a spamming window.
A judge for Asuna who's playing into short. He's not just playing into short, he's taking some space with it too. Oh, no, on the other side of the smoke. But look at DG. Crosshair trained.
And that judge is actually short barreled, so.
Oh, he spots him. The shoulder gives him away.
That angle is easily spotted there from that other corner. So you need a smoke in front of it if you want to do damage, or you're relying on them to run through in front of you. In this case, they were waiting for the smoke to fall. Right now we're looking at another 4v5 conversion attempt when 100 Thieves is an eco. Derek's looking for your ult. He gets a tag, but oh my goodness.
Fancy footwork from MW. He's going to preserve his life for now.
That is an interesting choice on a force.
Cryo with the Guardian. He's going to upgrade a weapon. Now has the Phantom. DG on the swing. Jet first jet. Who's the first to go?
The lockdown's going to detain them all.
I mean, DG's just so aggressive, getting the best of Cryo there.
He's
but you're right,
close.
it's
What?
detained. What? He's dead. Weapon now in the hands of the third member of the round.
It's only a Guardian. He didn't pick up the real weapon.
Oh, I thought he picked up the Phantom either way. MW's weak. And it's a thrifty round win for 100 Thieves. Again, opened by the Sheriff shot from Stellar.
That's just ridiculous. And I actually have to credit Derek. I was wondering why he went for that ult, but it was all because Cryo was alive down short. So he's causing chaos for him to be able to sow it. 100 Thieves, a perfect timed Eco round win. And despite the early kills too, where it felt like Furia was bringing it back in. Now we're faced with one round off of match point for 100 Thieves. Furia still have a buy, a bunch of ults. That Viper's Pit, I feel like we haven't seen all game. We only saw it once on that defensive side.
Starting to see some of the smokes come out from Bang towards A. The Trailblazers are intended to be the first line of defense. Lockdown invested.
And remember, Derek used his swivel last round, so it's not able to use to break, but he's gonna go for a kill as this goes out. Oh my goodness.
They find a pocket too. They get ahead of the lockdown, they get the kill onto DG, and then they give the space back.
And QCK's low because of that. He's getting healed up right now, but Pit's down, yes, he's still alive. And Mazin has his Reckoning, so this is a brutal tool to use in combination with this Viper's Pit. They're gonna jump out heaven though.
Another 4v5 for Furia, another opportunity to keep those numbers their way. There's the Reckoning that you mentioned. Osnick equalizing. They're falling apart. They crumble all over the place, but MW from Graffiti tried making something happen. It's just Mazin now, and he falls. 100 Thieves series point.
Looking absolutely insane there, and I don't know how Cryo survives while he's jumping out heaven. He's getting stunned and still avoiding those shots. And I just have to say, every single time we see a big ult used out of the other side, out of Furia, 100 Thieves makes the perfect decision. There, the 3 drop out of heaven is just so beautiful because there's a gap in that Viper's Pit on the drop side. And it's so fast in making that decision. Almost like it's prepared, knowing how Vipers play on this map. It's not a common comp. And they have experience.
All down to this for Furia. Blades for DG, who's been a little quiet this half. You look to your star to find value when you're pushed against the ropes. Second cascade used, this one just to clear out cinder blocks. That's smoke gonna provide some cover. He's in, he's up by himself too. How far up does he go? Dash expires, the drone's gonna find one. Spike's still not planted, and it's just a threat. Just enough to draw out some of the utility that we see, the Dizzy, the shock darts, everything. Meanwhile, Bang is gonna be on this late flank, a flank that QCK is intended to be covering by holding mid. He's gonna get behind him unnoticed. How far up does he go?
I mean, he might actually find it.
Dude, Bang's timing.
Looks like he wanted to go back window. Shark coming in though. Seekers popped in response.
Derek the first to fall.
Bang just flashed down short, so they know his position now.
Second wall used.
They're not actually looking at him.
They should know.
Oh my goodness.
Both sides being flanked at the most pivotal time of the round. There's QCK with 2 of his own. Stunned up. Stellar having to clutch this out. The chaotic round that it's been. To tap, daring the swing, and he's looking the wrong way. We play another round.
The double flank. I can't believe how both of those got insane value, especially after Bang flashed already. I thought for sure they were going to turn around.
Both of them finding 2Ks.
But it's
crazy.
I mean, both sides, you can see it. There's so much chaos happening to hold the site and to take the site on the front lines that you have to keep your attention on the fort. You have to. And now 100 Thieves down to their light buy.
Oh.
Judge, 3 stingers. And importantly, no ults on either side right now. We're playing these last 2 regulation rounds.
Note here, the Judge needs to find some value because that's 1 point away from a lockdown. And that could secure things.
They're just in not waiting for that dog to clear. Might lose them the game here.
But it's another 4v5 for Furia.
They're gonna pick up a gun off of that too, don't forget. It might be late in the round, but the A side is empty right now. They've been so good in these retake situations, despite not having a breach, despite only having a Gecko.
There's a little gap for you to swing out behind, really, on both sides of that cascade.
I think the important part is Derek's shock darts, which are coming in right now, have been so important. And he finds a little bit, no, actually no damage found. Can they keep him off now?
Just one rifle, and it's in the hands of Stellar, who again, still 1 point away from that lockdown. Could secure things by himself. His time is short. That's in the Cove.
That's so cool for Mazin.
But does he dare challenge it? That's it. That's the rifle. Is there anyone to fill in to grab it? No, there's not. Fury are going to clean up the round. They do.
Wow. What a crazy map. Playoffs hanging in the balance for 100 Thieves. They won't be completely out of it, but it will be out of their control losing this game. Furia fighting for OT right now, just staying in the map. And I have to credit Mazin again. He's just playing inside of that cove. It's such a cool idea. They have not yet slowed down the pace a single time. Cry once again the op. Remember, we saw Digizin just disrespect that Molly last time when he played that same angle. This time, Cryo does not, because he gets flashed too.
And he has no armor.
They double cascaded in long.
It's the second time they do that as well.
They spot both, I think.
Trying to section it off.
Derek's stunned.
DG so far up by himself once again, and he's punished. It's like it's just a little bit too much, and there's Cryo finding value. Now Blades online in the face of the Reckoning, trying to get high ground, ripped out of the sky. Mazin having to delay for just a moment, not able to land in the Cove, and now it's clear, now it's spammed, and now he's dead! Just 2 left for Furia!
There's no
spike out of reach! How do they get through this? They wait out the lockdown.
Doubling up on short. So tense. Turret watches it though. And the alarm bot watches the flank. 200 Thieves have everything locked up.
The turret finally taking some value. QCK trying to push Bang off. He's taking a lot of damage, but he steps in front of it just a little bit. There's a crossfire that was intended to be a swing for Stellar, and he gets it! 13-11! A 2-1 win for 100 Thieves in their season. Their state stays alive.
What a win. What a win for 100 Thieves. They continue. They absolutely continue to improve. And I love the respect they're showing too, going out to meet Mike rather than the other way around. What a insane, insane series. They go down on the first map. It looks rough for them. A map they have not played at all. Pearl, you could tell. But they still made it competitive. Then they destroy on Fracture, which feels like similar vibes from Furia, where they don't feel practiced on it. And then Haven too. It's such a unique comp, but clearly ready for it.
Such a fun setup too, for it to end on Haven, for it to end on good against good. A map where neither team has shown very much as far as deficiency goes. What a banger.
And I have to, again, one of the reasons why. One of the reasons why.
You hold that thought for a second.
I was not necessarily fully sold on this 100 Thieves squad was because the game plans, the strategies, those sorts of things were not necessarily showing through. What was showing through was the individual performances from Bang, from Cryo, from Asna, from everybody on this team really starting to rise throughout the season. Now, though, that has shifted for me. Strategy, decisions, calling, everything looked very good in this victory. And they stay alive for playoffs. They have to go up against MIBR next. They really have now gotten the must-win and converted into a pretty good chance here.
I mean, that was their hardest of the 2 series left. You're absolutely right. And, you know, for them to hit their stride late in the season, very reminiscent of what 100 Thieves and 100 Thieves fans went through last year.
And I